Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL. We are getting ready for match number 2 in week number 7, day number 1. That's a mouthful to come back to, but we are here. We're getting ready for another best of 5 series. We just saw the members of, dear Lord, I'm blanking on a 30K lose to the side of Storm Esports. Sorry, Storm. I said that I ate a snack and apparently I forgot how to cast. But either way, let's actually look at what's happened so far today. Maybe this will help me out. Man. It's the bagels. I was talking about bagels right before we went back live, and I can't stop thinking about pretzel bagels. But here we are. This is what we see. Thank you to production for getting this graphic. I'm a little forgetful today as we have the Storm Esports with a 3-1 victory over 30K, and Oxygen Esports will be going up against Diamond Hands. McIntyre and I were talking about this a little bit. Actually, I think, Grubby, you were listening in as well while you were snacking. We were talking about how this Oxygen Esports versus Diamond Hands game could kind of change things up a little bit. Obviously, Chili Mountain has to play against Simplicity tomorrow, but there's some standing shakeups that could actually happen from this next best of 3. Diamond Hands is a little bit on the lower half of our standings, so they might not move very far. But Grubby, as we look at the Diamond Hand roster, what's kind of your big standout? Is it your mod Ucky, or is it the leadership of Bad Benny? What are you leaning into here?
I think Valimar has been playing fantastic on heal as well. I think this is the team with one of the most hero diversity, and Funds is a large linchpin of this. I also feel like he's the only player to have shown some of the heroes effectively in CCL Season 1 and 2. He's not always the most perfect player, but he has played Mephisto, he's played Kira, he's played Gaslow. Some other players don't even touch some of these. He's been very flexible. Lunara, a very flexible player. Funds is my MVP for the team there.
What do you think about this Oxygen roster, McIntyre, as we're taking a peek at this?
Yeah, I mean, Oxygen, I think, continue week after week. Nasmus is showing that, he is a veteran in the scene. He knows how to play that solo lane well, and he can play it pretty much any character in it, right? Dahaka, Vikings, Augur, the list goes on, right? And that flexibility for Oxygen, I think, has really kind of led them to a lot of their victories, right? As well as Heavy. His support play has looked really, really clean, really successful. It'll be interesting. I know Heavy, definitely a standout Stukov player. How do we adapt to that, removal of the character for the time being? Where does the team go in the draft screen because of it?
You make a very good point, and I want to kind of reiterate this. We brought up in the first best of 5 today. We had some heroic unbans and some hero bans in general. For anyone that's wondering, the Joanna Falling Sword, that's unbanned. Lucio Mixing Fire, that's the level 20 upgrade for High 5. That's unbanned as well, as it has the proper cooldown now. As well as Malfurion's level 20 Serenity, the upgrade to Tranquility. It was overhealing. That has been fixed as well. Unfortunately, Stukov has had a few too many bugs in the Nexus. He's a little too infested right now, so Blizzard deemed him unplayable at this time in our current state of the game. So he's actually been shut off in Heroes of the Storm. So we won't see any Stukov today. We won't even see bans on it because actually people have tested this. You can't even accidentally choose him in custom games. He's completely shut off in Heroes. So thank you to the Blizzard developers for taking action and shutting down something that could be very broken in our Storm League, even our quick match games. Just wanted to shout that out really quickly as we go ahead and look at the map and find out where we're going to for map number 1 in our second best of 5 of the day. We're going to kick things off, Grubby, on Infernal Shrines. And I want to let everyone know how we got here first. We had the coin flip won by Diamond Hands. They opted for first pick priority, banning out Alterac Pass. The members of Oxygen banning out Battlefield of Eternity, but choosing to take us to this Diablo-based map. I like this map here, Grubby, to kick things off. It's a nice macro. There's a lot of micro. It's a nice balance of kind of everything. Camp timings, micro, macro, and the drafts. They're very wild on this map. You can kind of go any which way. It's not like you gotta play to the shrine or you gotta play to the rotations.
Yep, you said it all. This is the perfect map to test your skill in what is a very important match for one of these teams. It is important for both of them because while they're not vying for top 3 anymore, this is no longer possible, they can still influence their standings by a lot in this match going forward. Oxygen could still be top 4, Diamond Hands could still be bottom 7, and they can kind of go up and down based on the result here. Every single placement that is better here is going to influence how many teams you have to beat in the knockout phase. And Infernal Shrine is a great skill barometer to start things off with.
We'll talk a little bit more about those standings at the end of today's stream and see how things have shifted around, because right now it looks like Storm and Simplicity are locked in that 1-2 slot, but there's a little bit of shakeup still happening in the middle of the pack right now, and this game, as you mentioned, Grubby, does have impact. If Oxygen can 3-0 Diamond Hands, there might be a little bit of a shift. Oxygen, I think, actually could find themselves in slot number 4 if Chili Mountain loses tomorrow. So there's a lot of if and or buts about this, and we'll get into it. We'll get into a lot of that later, or maybe even tomorrow morning. As McIntyre, we're starting to unfold the Infernal Shrines draft. Anubarak, Junkrat, Band out on the left, and Hogger, Uther on the right.
Yeah, I think the interesting one here for me is the Uther ban. We haven't seen it as much, but it essentially saying you don't want you to go double sword. You don't want you to be able to protect something from heavy CC, one shot kind of combos. Tyke's first pick, very strong on Infernal Shrines and never upset about it. And Heavy's answering my question pretty quickly here in the draft. Going to take that Brightwing in the 1-2 Nasmus on the Diva. Really strong for the map. Always a powerful pick for Infernal Shrines. The bomb buying space, not only for your team to clean up some of the skeletons, but also the fact that it just one-shots them once it blows up is an added benefit to kind of drafting the character on this map, right? Really good at doing the shrine by herself, same as Leoric though. Very good response draft here from the side of Diamond Hands. Very strong at battling the Diva as well on the shrine. That drain on her kind of almost forces her out of the mech and wants to play to the baby version of herself, so she can put damage onto the Leoric, as well as the Lucio. Very, very strong pick from Diamond Hands.
So with Leo go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna bump it to you, Grubby. I was literally just saying I like what I'm seeing from both sides, but really I want to get your thoughts as we're unfolding this draft as well.
Well, with Leo and Tychus, you've got the tank killer doubles that can just really make a Stitches or Diablo suffer. It also protects your own Stitches or Diablo or Blaze in that you don't get blown up like that by percentage damage of Leo and Tychus. And it's also interesting because it forces Brightwing to use her Z early, and that can then be punished upon with your final 2 picks. Because you're like, hey, your Brightwing needs to phase shift now. And Leo and Tychus force that, so you get a very predictable fight outcome, potentially. Let's see if there's going to be some kind of Maiev that will try to make use of Brightwing porting in at that time.
Maiev actually, I kind of like that a little bit as well, just to kind of also dive into the backline. Umbra Bind is such a great displacement tool, but also control tool into maybe even Diva Mech Explosion. As we get our next 2 picks out from Oxygen, I'm very curious actually what it'll be. Hanzo and Blaze. A lot of Blaze this weekend so far, McIntyre. I'm sure you're sitting here happy, maybe wishing for a little more Thrall.
I mean, Thrall's very, very good against Blaze. When he charges, you can wolf him in response. But this is actually going to be a Blaze main tank, which is, I guess, unique now to Oxygen's side. No one has drafted it yet. We've seen it in the off lane, right? But here we go, seeing it as a main tank. Very good on the map, right? Gonna create pressure. We'll see how Diamond Hands responds. Gonna be the Diablo and the Cassia. I think very strong picks. Interesting for me. I know I'm gonna continue to harp on the Diablo and kind of needing to be protected. Is the Lucio enough? Right now, Oxygen has the ability to draft something that bullies that Diablo. It kind of pressures him in the fight to a point where Lucio cannot protect him. Right? There is no Medivh, there is no D shield from the Uther or a Brightwing Z heal. Tassadar going to be the pick here from Oxygen, just playing for the objective. I think this is a really strong draft, right? We see with Madara, he likes to go Dragon Strike instead of Dragon Arrow. And, if you wall him off with a Tassadar or pair it up with even a Black Hole, right? The synergy, the wombo potential of those 2 paired together, I think is really powerful, as well as just their ability to, pick up those skeletons on the objective just by throwing stuff at the enemy team, right? The arrows coming in with Splash at 4, Tassadar, Storm, and Q both do great at stealing skeletons. Meanwhile, on the side of Diamond Hands, though, they do have that Tychus. They have that Odin, which continues to see success. We have Cassia. She might be able to step forward and apply pressure to Blaze. I think this game could really go either way. I will say, again, the Diablo, though, not the hottest pick in the CCL as of recent. Because of that, I am going to vote for Oxygen to win game number 1 here. They also have Blaze. He's just the cooler fire guy now. Sorry, Diablo. We'll see you next patch, whatever that would be. But yeah, we'll give this one to Oxygen for this game, number 1.
Alrighty, McIntyre, thank you for the breakdown and your prediction here, as well as we get into Infernal Shrines, map number 1 in our second best of 5 of the day. On the left-hand side, we got Diamond Hands. We got Aki on the Leoric. Bad Benny will be playing the Diablo. Funds on the Tychus. Valimar playing the Lucio, and Got Filth on Cassia. Over in the red, our Oxygen Esports team. Mater on the Hanzo, Draded on the Tassadar, Nasmus playing Diva, Red Robot on the Blaze, and Heavy on the Brightwing. I've written down an Oxygen win here, Grubby, in my notebook, and there are a few things where I'm like, that could be an X factor in favor of Diamond Hands, a little bit of mixing fire value, Commandeer Odin, Big Red Button, Ball Lightning from Cassia, but I agree, I like what Oxygen has, I like how they scale, and I want to give this over to Oxygen. What do you think going into this map 1, Infernal Shrines?
Yeah, I think Oxygen has got what it takes as well. I like their draft a little bit more. But I think there's one way that Diamond Hands, if they fight in a certain way, they could have the better... Nice interrupt. They could have the better matchup. So overall, front to back, I think Oxygen has the lead.
Okay.
Blaze cannot be blown up like other tanks because he can pop in a bunker. And Bunker is one of the few heroics, just like Sundering on Thrall, that is just not interruptible. It does look like first scrap is going to Diamond Hands. No! How do you feel that? Well, they do still get half a kill, right?
True.
And that's 10 souls for Diablo as well to pop the neck.
22 souls sit on Diablo right now, and that's a very good point. What I also want to talk about while we're looking at some of these talents is we do have the target practice from the Hanzo at level 1, so you have the extra range after hitting every enemy hero once, which is great. Extra range against a Cassia, Lucio, that's really good, but the Diva Pilot goes down to the Tychus. I don't think that expectation was happening right there. Red Robot just putting some damage onto Valimar, but that is an unexpected kill this early on. No phase shift from Brightwing. Actually, phase shift from Brightwing's available. Maybe it was canceled out. I didn't see it.
Well, what happened is that Brightwing started to cover top a bit, and Diva mounted up, walked mid to try and help out, and was about to pop into her mech. It was really just impatience and a little bit sloppy to allow herself to be caught. Either it was like 99% energy, or it got interrupted. This is, though, how Bad Benny plays often with his team. He likes to set up these really creative ganks. When they work out, that's what wins Diamond Hands the games. And when they're not being fed into in this manner, and I don't mean fed as in defeating,
right,
the term, but like when it doesn't work, when they're not being sustained in that way by those moves, then Diamond Hands can struggle a little bit more. But so far, already hit the mark twice, and that's very encouraging for Diamond Hands. Now, about the team fight, Blaze doesn't get blown up easily. He can pop into the bunker. It's uninterruptible. Here's how Diamond Hands, I think, can have a really good team fight. If they come from many different sides, and I think Lucio can enable that, then Blaze cannot protect everybody. They do have a fragile Hanzo Tassadar backline, and Cassia, like McIntyre often says, can become the tank in these situations. And Lucio can pop over to everyone and save them. I think in such chaotic fights, Diamond Hands can come out really well.
I was just checking really quickly to see the Lucio stacks, and he's still working his way through. Actually has to hit one enemy hero once more, I believe it was the Leoric, and still has to get those extra shots. But once you get every enemy hero hit once, you get 30% range, which I was mentioning earlier, keeps Madara in a safer spot. And once you hit every enemy hero 3 times, you get 100 extra damage. Explosive arrows paired into that are a great way to burn down the objective phase, and also kind of get a little bit of soak experience, or soaking done if you're all on your own. You just need to be able to split and do that for the friendly team. But Leoric, chunking his way through the first objective phase, will be a Mortar Punisher. And as we discussed in the previous Best of 5, Grubby, Mortar Punisher, you can kind of maybe give it away here and there. You don't need to go as a priority onto it, but it seems like Oxygen will want to steal a few of these Skeleton Defenders away. Maybe buy some time for Diva to do double soak, or potentially even win this out as a huge Jet Propulsion comes out from the Blaze. Great use of the Polymorph. Draded with the Shock Ray as well, almost kills Bad Benny. Valimar with the Lucio pushing off. 2 members of Diamond Hands are able to hold on with a sliver of health, but Will got filled? No.
Fantastic follow-up there, Draded with the Scythe Storm. Oh my god, Brightwing's auto attack.
Single
Heavy with the magic spit bonus range, single auto attack finishing him off.
111 damage is what Brightwing's auto does right now, and that was just perfect from Heavy on the Brightwing. able to get that kill for the friendly team. Tychus down for the next 2 seconds. Cassia spawning back up. And this, unfortunately, is still going to go to Diamond Hands. But here's the benefit, Grubby. A little experience from the kill, double soaking from D.Va, who's finding some pressure into these other lanes. The later Punisher phases for the side of Oxygen will be amplified since the front gates are down, if Oxygen is able to get those Punishers later in the game. Right now, though, top lane being sieged by Diamond Hands.
Yeah, this is good defense. Even though they knew they're going to lose the objective, focusing on getting a few kills, getting that red robot stun into the Cassia, and then the follow-up kill, and then the kill on, one more by Brightwing there, just has given that experience lead with D.Va with the side lane. And now, Oxygen can play for level 10, take a little bit of damage top, even still have their Fountain. They can just play very leisurely now, and Hanzo is working away on that quest.
See this level lead as Fun steps into Madara. The phase shift won't be in time. I was just watching this unfold and I was like, how unfortunate would it be if you get picked off? And yeah, that's going to be the case right there. Nasmus will lose Mexa. 1.5 kills over to Diamond Hands. If Leoric had an Entomb, we could have seen Nasmus getting picked off, but it will be the other team, the members of Oxygen with 10 talents here first. But that 1.5 kill bolstered the experience of Diamond Hands, and they're encroaching onto that 10 talent tier, as our next Punisher will be Arcane. And Grubby, if I'm not mistaken, the timer or the announcement shouldn't be too far off on this one.
Yeah, it should come fairly soon, probably in about 30-40 seconds or so, would be my gut, though I don't know the exact timings. I usually play this by feeling. Not as precise as the pros, I'm sure. As it stands, there's still some Khazra and Baylor camps to fight for in the mid to bot. That's what they're scouting for. Madara's doing a lot of that scouting. There's the arrow, and okay, they realize that Diamond Hands is setting up for their own camp, which means Oxygen can get the contested camp.
Little gain through bottom lane, little for the side of Oxygen, same to be said in mid on the side of Diamond Hands. Brightwing, Heavy just hanging out in top lane, not showing on map. And we have Bad Benny, though, flanking in. Heavy sees this coming out. There's the Shadow Charge. Heavy kind of lined up for that one, and I don't know if you make it out alive. Nowhere to blink, nowhere to go, and that'll be a kill. I feel like Heavy just kind of saw the Diablo coming, and it was almost like deer in headlights. It was just lining up against that tower. Like nothing against the player, but just like, I'm not the best mechanical player, and I kind of saw that starting to unfold in front of me. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, he just saw that, and he just lowered his wings, and he's like, oh. Bad Benny will probably die here. They did get another kill there as well, so it's still a 2-for-1 when all is said and done. Diablo is going to be active immediately with that respawn. Let's see if he's actually happy with that, because he doesn't have as much health coming back from that. But these kind of ganks are what I'm talking about. This is Bad Benny at his best. Last week we saw his Diablo draft and rotations not leading to kills. It was getting countered. The macro pressure was too much, but this time, these kind of ganks, I don't think Brightwing was in a terrible spot.
Okay.
1 or 2 slots to the left, he can jump on the minion wave, maybe buy time. 1 or 2 slots to the right, and there's the other minion wave. And he was 1 or 2 seconds away from that wave being close enough. That's the window that Bad Benny and team found to get a kill there behind the wall. I think that's super creative, and I really see Diamond Hands and Bad Benny making those plays the most. Now they're going for D.Va again, finding those angles, right? There's the interrupt by Valamar. You are not going to get away from this. Fun's shooting away. They're getting another D.Va kill. Nasmas, he's a very experienced solo laner. He can get away from stuff like this normally, but he doesn't expect these kind of plays.
Really good Pyromania. Madara ripping a Dragon Strike into the enemy team because it obviously is, striking and stunning them. Sorry, I got my hill to die on, but that's not a place to go right now as we have the bunker coming down from Blaze, Shockray from Draded. Leoric is able to get the spooky, Wraithwalk away. Commandeer Odin out from Tychus, and Funds and Kerr are looking like they're going to be able to grab first objective phase here, unless Red Robot and friends can step into this. It's even talent tiers, 5-3 in kills. Hanzo poking in. Madara still needs 1 more stack to get the extra 100 damage, but has the increased range, if I'm not mistaken. And this is looking like second Punisher over to the side of Diamond Hands, controlling the enemy team so very well. That pick onto D.Va, I think, kind of set up the win for this Punisher phase, Grubby.
Yeah, that's true, and we'll see how this works out now. Hanzo, I did just check, Hanzo needs the Leoric hit with his bow to finish things off. That's the one target he's missing, and Leoric is the most elusive since he's not here.
Funds is a little far forward. The phase shift from Brightwing will be coming through, I do believe. Hanzo actually ends up going down in that. I kind of am surprised that was the turn of events.
Yeah, I don't even see what he died to. He was half-life, and then he was gone. he was just missing. I guess Godfilth did like a spear. There was a Tychus grenade, and then Godfilth maybe activating his trait.
That's absolutely filthy from the side of Diamond Hands as they get themselves a mid lane fort, and they'll get themselves the keep front, a little bit of the keep front gate in mid. But the other thing to note too, Ucky on the Leoric. At the start of this engagement phase, or the objective phase while it was pushing, rotated to top lane, pushed in this camp, found the fort. So it's actually a double fort phase from the side of Diamond Hands as they encroach onto level 16. What was looking like a shaky game at first, you know what? I wouldn't even say that. I feel like Diamond Hands have been in the driver's seat for most of this game, with the constant pressure around the map, as you've been saying, Grubby, with this Diablo Bad Benny rotations.
Well, they won the objective, but they were down at some point level 7.8 against 8.6, and it seems like the Punisher was being mitigated real well. But everything else since then, oh yeah, he's just gonna play it safe. He suffered too much at the hands of Diamond Hands, and is going to try and play this safe. But there's another Entomb. Oh, that's painful.
Diva Mech just a little too thick and will get bopped out of the Entomb. With all this dive into top lane, this is just going to be a fort. Okay, I was going to say a fort attempted by Oxygen, but then I was looking, I was like, yeah, Oxygen, do you realize that the Punisher's in top lane next? They absolutely do, and this defense is imperative for the side of Oxygen, because if Diamond Hands can get the next Punisher, it could go to core and win the game. I know we were talking early into this map, but Diamond Hands have been really rolling through Infernal Shrines in a dominant fashion so far.
They really have, Bahamut, and you know, when you think of that top Punisher position, that is not something double backline artillery usually wants to move into. Oxygen has two squishy big damage dealers. Diamond Hands have two short range brawly damage dealers in Tychus and Cassia. They're much more willing to go into that place. This is so difficult for Oxygen because it's also their most vulnerable lane. They need to make something happen in the next minute. Something that isn't the top shrine. They cannot play that objective phase as we thought they might be able to do with this draft that they have. Diamond Hands is just rocking it.
I think Diamond Hands knows exactly the setup that you're talking about, Grubby, and they're not playing into that whatsoever. Utilizing Godfilth just to poke at the waves, having Diablo sharking around, kind of waiting for anyone to step a little too far forward. Meanwhile, you have Lucio and Tychus working on a camp or two, and Lucio can kind of speed up the rotation into the lane. So I like Diamond Hands' read. We're in game number 1 here, Grubby. We're getting ready for the shrine. Do you want to jump into either comms, or do you want to see how this plays out?
I'd love to actually hear how Diamond Hands is syncing up, because they've had some great calls so far. Let's go. Into
Diamond Hands we go.
Fine. I will go on them around this if I get angles.
Okay.
We might need to...
Careful of them, like.
Oh yeah, I got Diva first.
Yeah, yeah. I valve
Big storm. We can shoot,
Just leave.
Yeah, we got ball.
We could tap if you need it. I mean,
Let's get the wave. Have Leo play Shrine, the rest playing the wave.
Yeah. Don't lump too much on me so Blaze doesn't get a Giga spin. I've got souls, got spell shield up. I'm flipping him.
Kinda insane, yeah.
This on me, this on me.
Careful.
Yeah, I will this.
Hey, he's one out of the bunker. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm walled.
They're all
They're all one.
I'm going on them.
Turn on robot, turn on robot.
Yeah,
I block him if you can.
We should just get out.
Okay, shine.
I have an amp.
Okay.
Just tap for engage.
And do me? We can wait for Leo. I'll poke with Odin.
I mean, they're really chunky.
Yeah, I will just go when I'm going Hans top.
No.
Damn.
Oh, I'm just...
He's one.
Finish him on him.
Yeah. Closest guy. Blaze has nothing. I'm
I want to play Shine soon.
Hey, Val. Oh, I missed.
Finish Diva.
Maybe Diva. If not, we go
I
Shine.
kill him here.
I cleanse.
Keep going. I think you get.
Yeah.
Roll.
I'm respawning soon.
If you get more kills, maybe actually.
Just go Blaze.
I
I get.
I have an amp and two.
Leo do that and the rest push. Get the keep it.
I'll play Shrine. Yeah, Odin 60.
Yeah, we should be able.
fun communication, good communication, and shot calling between all the members on Diamond Hands, Grubby, as they set up kill after kill. Maybe even another one in this bottom or this top lane. Diablo Bad Benny so very low, gets the high five from Lucios. Tychus shreds through this top lane, keeps setting up this Frozen Punisher with Uki on the objective phase. Good communication, good shot calling, good target calling as well, and abilities with that, I cleanse, or look at here, or I have Valk. Loving what we're hearing out from Diamond Hands, Grubby.
Yeah, same here, Bahamut. And Diamond Hands is now in the driver's seat. They're 39ing the objective, which means they're allowed to and able to clean up those 2.5 minion waves or so in the bottom lane. Even though that's not game winning, you're covering your bases in case something goes wrong at the enemy core. You haven't given up. Bottom keep wall, half of your keep unnecessarily. Plus, you're empowering this push. You are going to get level 20 first. Diablo might be working on some souls as well. Gonna take a quick peek at that. How many souls does he have?
39 on Diablo?
Yeah, 39 souls, yeah. So he got a few souls out of that as well.
Also 20.
Now there's level 20. They've got big red button. This could be a game-winning moment for Diamond Hands.
Buried alive from the Leoric, Hellgate from that Diablo. Tychus holding, but we can assume that it's the big red button. I don't think we see much otherwise. Like this, it's such a powerful sieging tool, and half a level advantage with this 20 talent tier. Nice use of the Pyromania from Blaze. He gets the jump from the Punisher. Red Robot trying to pull towards bottom lane or mid lane. Won't be the case. Nasmus. Oh, there's a Valkyrie. Oh, there's a buried alive. The Hellstorm or the Lightning Breath. Bad Benny sets up the kill into Brightwing. Big mecha explosion. Does a little bit of damage, but not enough. Big red button coming through. Leoric does go down. A trade onto these heroes. Diablo jumps on top of Draded, who does go down to Cassia. The fort in mid lane, or the keep, was stalled out from the Punisher. Diablo goes down, no souls. Valimar getting picked off as well. Got Filth is taking way too much damage from the core. He needs to back off, but he gets hit by the keep. The core is starting to lose some of its HP, and all that is left is a lone Tychus, who is going to drop one more big red button, and that's 5 members of Diamond Hands going down, and the core sits at 51%. Grubby, this is awkward, but it's not over just yet. I don't think that there's enough time for Oxygen to run through bottom and end game. Maybe they get keep, but there's no way they get keep in core.
Yeah, I don't think they even get keep. I think Leoric with Buried Alive and his Ominous Wraith and Royal Focus is actually going to save this just fine. Gotta say they're Bad Benny a little bit too deep, taking keep and core shots in between. We saw how that went for Storm, basically in the same exact spot. I'm just gonna make a mental note here to not go gank people under keep, in between keep and core. It's just too risky. Feels good when it starts, but you end up just waking up feeling guilty as hell. So Diamond Hands, they do get the core down to 51%, but that was not the game-winning moment. I think if they just click the core, despite the suppressive fire available for the alive members of Oxygen, they have a better chance of ending the core there.
But the game's not over yet, and we have 20s on both sides. We have that Dragon Awakens from Mater, and we all know how well he's able to get that cooldown reduction active from, what is it? It's like everything. It's Storm Bow, Scatter Arrows, auto attacks. It's just anything and everything gives you a cooldown on that heroic, and you can just rapid fire these Dragon Strikes. Yeah, because it strikes the enemy team. Doesn't summon a giant dragon. No. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Fight will break out though.
Oh, interrupt.
Okay.
Interrupt on jet propulsion by Valimar there. Nice with the sound wave, making sure that his team does not get stunned. Apparently, Bad Benny thinks it's time to move in. The Valkyrie does not get a play. Blink away from the next jet propulsion. And suddenly you gotta say, okay, 2 engages failed. Let's not press our luck. We're still very much ahead. But no, he found another mark. They're just gonna keep charging into each other. And there's a Buried Alive. Blaze goes down.
Omega Buried Alive. I was actually just thinking to myself, I was like, what if Oxygen turns this around? And then we see Leoric just drop a Buried Alive on top of Blaze's head, and he gets shredded by the Tychus, who is at 115 stacks on that level 4. For anyone wondering, I'm just curious, 3.45 seconds. So you're looking at 6.45 seconds of the minigun time. So really, yeah, Tychus can just stand still for the Entomb and then some and just shred into the enemy side. So liking the play from Funds. Look at Nasmus's mech is just getting destroyed. Doesn't get the mech explosion. Oops. What in the heck is that? Diva, you can't 1v1 the Tychus, who just got 35 more stacks on that level 1 or 4.
Yeah, he was like 1v2ing Tychus and Lucio while Minigun was active, and he thought, I can leave anytime. I just don't want to. And I can just pop out of the mech and walk away. Oh, no, that's not possible either. With Big Red Button up now and Diva's still dead, this is a keep down for sure. And then I think the safe play, go bottom lane, clear up, take down bottom fort, take Khazras, then play objective. But for some reason, Diamond Hands wants to chance core again. And they should be turning on Odin, and probably they can do it.
Odin has been summoned, so it's a dragon coming through this lane, and we have just so much. Yeah, this is enough damage on the core.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus! Sorry, I looked at the APM at the end of that game, Grubby. Valimar, sorry, I had to remember. I wanted to say Yasuo. Valimar had like 800 APM on the Lucio at the end of the game, so I'm gonna check on that in some of the other games. But like, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I love like just checking on APM for heroes. One time I saw a 1,300 APM Mal'Ganis. Keep that in mind. McIntyre, let's get you back in this and get your thoughts on it. Hey, there's a VOD somewhere. McIntyre, what are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it goes to show you Valmar's APM. He was so devastating in that game, right? I'd say like every time I saw Red Robot go for a charge, he'd get booped. Diva popping out of her mechs, getting booped. It was pretty devastating. Yeah, and all coming from that, high APM Lucio gameplay coming out of Valmar. Quite the series, I'd say. We put a lot of faith into the Oxygen draft, being able to kind of team fight around the objective. But time and time again, we just saw the value of kind of that Tychus Odin, right? That pressure that it brings, and the Cassia, Godfil showing up on the Cassia. Every team fight, pressuring backline, finding angles and flanks, seemed to really find success for the side of Diamond Hands. Able to close out. There was a moment there where things got a little interesting, right? That heroic hold from the side of Oxygen, 50% left on their core. Then we saw just a team fight happen. I always call them just for no reason. Team fight happening for no reason in the middle of the map. Red Robot dropping bunker, may not be as experienced on the character Blaze. I'm just kind of dropping bunker because he felt a little scared, and not having it back up. Bad Benny kind of recognizes that. The Entomb comes out from the Leoric, and they're able to pick him up. Continuing on to the bottom lane, finding a kill on Nasmus even. Interesting end of a game, right? To be so close throughout, I think Oxygen has kind of lost their footing there at the end of it. And Diamond Hand's able to win game here, pick it up for their side and go on to the next.
On to the next map, indeed. And yeah, I like the breakdown. I'm looking at the stats still before we get into our next lobby, and I was just looking, like, it's a conversation we've had a lot in CCL, but it's a really good one right now. Madara on the Hanzo had like 82,000 heroic damage, found 1 kill, 9 assists, 4 deaths, whereas Tychus Funds had just about 60,000 heroic damage, 6 kills, 8 assists, 2 deaths, and it's effective damage versus damage done, and not that Madara did bad things, he was just poking a lot on the Hanzo, whereas Tychus, that near 60,000 heroic damage, that was finding kill after kill after kill, or setting up kill after kill after kill. So it's a big victory for Diamond Hands in map number 1. Can they carry that momentum into map number 2, or is this going to be Oxygen Esports who kind of just shut things down? How this affects our standings in the overall grand scheme of CCL into the playoffs, I don't exactly know, but I don't know if this might actually be like one game that was necessary for Diamond Hands to win, so Oxygen can't really shift around in that bracket. We'll look at all that a little bit later. We'll break into that as the day progresses, or even tomorrow morning as well. But yeah, please, Grubby, I want to get your thoughts as well.
I can illuminate the standings.
Ooh, yeah, do.
Diamond Hands is 2-4. This is the final match. Oxygen is 3-3. This is the final match. They're playing against each other. Diamond Hands, if they win the best of 5, they're 3-4, just like Oxygen. So then it's about score differential. The difference is 5 points in favor of Oxygen. If Diamond Hands wins 3-0, they gain 6 points difference with Oxygen. The one and only way for Diamond Hands to overtake Oxygen is to win 3-0, and they're 1/3 of the way there.
All right, well, thank you, Grubby, for the breakdown as we are waiting to find out where we're heading to for map number 2 in our second best of 5 of the day. It's an exciting one, too, because, like, Diamond Hands, we talked about this at the start of the day before the show went live, and Diamond Hands, they've had to be very clear, they've had a bit of a rocky season. It's it's a lot of game number 5 or series that go to game number 5 and they fall in that map number 5 where they get reverse swept. McIntyre, do you think that this is maybe the weekend where they come in and they show, all right, you know what, we don't pick Cho'Gall, even though Funds, you made a deal with me on Twitter, I'm holding you to that, Funds. Anyways, Diamond Hands, they could try and take this 3-0. Like, do you think it's possible with what we saw, or do you think Oxygen is going to be able to kind of bring it back in map number 2?
I mean, after this first game, definitely looks possible. They seemed on top of their CCs, their engages. When we joined their comms, everything seemed in control. And their drafting comfort. They're getting. I mean, it's interesting because I think this shift in the patch and the meta has kind of opened up a lot of really strong picks for like all of these teams, right? It seems like everyone's just getting the drafts that they want, the characters that they want to play, and we're really getting to see like high level, high power Heroes of the Storm, right? It's not double support, Abathur, Vikings, Global,
Wait a
right?
minute. No,
It's
I
like
that.
we are seeing like really strong picks from both sides, and just hitting each other as hard as they can. So Diamond Ham seems to be really good at that, considering how hard diamonds really are. But here we go. We're looking at game number 2 here. It's going to be map choice by Diamond Hands. Going to take us to Curse Hollow. I spoke too soon on the globals. We may see some Vikings. Either of these teams play it. Some Samros, some Abathurs. There's a lot of fun picks you can pick on this map, right, Grubby?
Yeah, for sure. And of course also the tank meta changes a bit as Tyrael becomes really high priority. We see some Dahaka coming in as well. I think Blaze gets a lot of good stunts on this map in a way if you can flank, but may not be as important because he will run too often into the enemy's tank without being able to affect their backline. Plus, the way that the Oxygen got dismantled probably moves them slightly lower on the confidence level in Blaze main tank, especially if your offlaner is D.Va, because you could have an initiation issue. Of course, sometimes Bad Bunny and Friends found picks on them, but they couldn't really do the same thing against Bad Bunny and Friends.
Also,
against Diamond Hands.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the draft potentials and even just heroes that they could play. And I want to also bring up, we talked about some of the bans and stuff. This isn't banned out. Joanna is playable this weekend, but I don't feel like we're going to see much Joanna at all because, well, she doesn't scale off of her shield glare. It's not a
damage.
Yeah, it's it's 59 damage. That's it.
Always.
You like level 1 through level 300. And Heroes of the Storm, well, 30. And Heroes of the Storm,
I feel like it doesn't really matter.
You will always do 59 damage. Oh, I like that's the one thing, Grubby, that I was thinking about when I was playing Joanna too, because someone said it in my chat, and I was like, but does shield glare ever scale to the point where it's like, oh man, that damage it's so necessary? Like, I understand like maybe catching a kill with like a little 100 and something damage, but I don't feel like shield glare gets to like 200 plus damage. I feel like it probably maxes out around like
it literally can't unless you nano booster. Like
okay, so
level
there you
20 is double damage. So 59 at level 20 should be doing 118. So I mean, it's like asking, in order to deal with Johanna, would you ever pick minus spell power, minus 50% spell power, so that her blind only does half damage, minus 59 at level 20? And the answer is no. So you literally don't care. The main issue with her is she enables backline protection ult usage. You Falling Sword to stop 1 or 2 enemy frontliners from blowing up your backline, cleansing your own backline, damaging and stunning their frontline. And that's how she is a defensive tank. Therefore, Johanna can be used when your poke is superior to your opponent's poke, forcing them to engage. And you must play around an important, centralized, powerful objective, forcing a fight for that poke to actually stick, because poke is no good when there's nobody there. You ever tried poking the air? It doesn't do anything. So if they're like side pushing the other lane, then it doesn't matter. Infernal Shrines is a forced objective map, as is BOE, but when you go Falling Sword, you've got no aggressive initiation, so you need to let the objective do the talking. I think there is a play for Johanna in CCL, but it's going to have to be a very specially crafted draft that has other forms of initiation, or will win off of poke and objective control.
Well said, Grubby. Oh my god, just writing a thesis on Joanna play for us right now, and we'll all be able to take that into our Storm League games. Quick note for everyone at home, we do have a swap onto main tanks for Diamond Hands. Bad Benny will be swapped out for Caesar Salad, and want to get your thoughts onto this, or even just the draft unfolding here, McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I'm not sure if an issue had arose, but bringing in Caesar Salad, 6-player. Today is the 6-player day, the sub player. CPX first, and now possibly Caesar Salad here. I think, yeah, it's exciting to see that they are going to ban the Stitches out, as well as that Brightwing, getting rid of some of the global. The Medivh from the side of Oxygen, I think that's good, targeting that Diablo that worked so well in the previous game. Noob first pick, very good on Cursed Hollow. Just those beetles are so powerful, the ability to escape. You know, I think one thing we forget to mention sometimes too is like beetles tank the boss. Like you can just kind of do the boss without taking much damage at all because of those little beetles. They're just so versatile. Meanwhile, though, Diamond Hand's going to go with that Uther Cassia. I liked the Cassia last game. I'm excited to see it here this game.
I mean, Gottfeld's Cassia has been noted from season 1, like just from season 1 to season 2, like it's always been around. It's much like Dino's Cassia, but we're gonna go for a Junkrat Lucio, so a lot of displacement but also engagement from Oxygen. I like what they're putting together. The other thing too to consider here, Grubby, is the poke potential. A lot of the poke potential from Junkrat. What are you thinking, maybe ban wise, or what do you think of the draft on either side?
Well, you want a little bit more blow up. I think like Oxygen, they have an Uberak, they want another frontliner and more blow up. I think Madarus Hanzo is something to potentially consider. Yeah, that is actually a lot of blow up as well. And an Uberak is good into Chromie, so it protects the Chromie pick a bit as well. Chromie, I think, is a good ban.
Yeah.
Vikings too, really good ban actually.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We have the Cassia Uther on the left-hand side. I'm trying to think, what does Diamond Hands want to pair with this? Are they going to go into that double support range? Is this solo support? I believe in our last series, it was the map number 2, I believe. It was where 30K actually pulled out the single healer Uther, and it wasn't even a main tank Uther, and it just didn't work out too well. So there's a secondary healer in a Karazim. We'll see if this is Caesar Salad on the Karazim, but it's going to be also a Blaze as well. So players can still swap around, but this is exciting, McIntyre, as things are really starting to unfold for Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, so I know for myself personally, when I think about Caesar Salad, I actually think about his support play.
Oh, okay.
I think since he has transitioned to tank, possibly, he could just be a flex player, but I think he's been playing a lot more tank. So it is kind of cool to see possibly him here playing that Karazim, right? The in between support and tank. We'll see where Diamond Hands chooses to go, but we do know that Oxygen opting into the Dahaka and the Abathur. They had the solo carry Junkrat last week. Madara was actually talking about it, where they ran the triple bruiser. This week we're kind of seeing it again here with the Abathur. I wonder who the Abathur ends up hatting this game, or even cloning. If he chooses to go clone, he could go with the Boogeyman Master Talent, making that pet and pressing the side lanes. As you can see here, Diamond Hands has no real good side pressure, right? I have to assume that Oxygen's going to lean more into the split pressure, using that Dahaka Global.
Diamond Hands has no good side pressure?
Split pressure. So they could
Sylvanas?
definitely run it down hard with the Sylvanas and the Karazim. My point is more so that if Dahaka presses top lane and they go and respect it, then Dahaka will global in, right? So creating multiple lanes of pressure on the map and how well Diamond Hands can respond to it, I think is going to be kind of the name of the game here, right? And how well does Oxygen respond to the Sylvanas? Because in my mind, Junkrat and Lucio can just defend that fairly easy, right? If they chase the Sylvanas around, then Dahaka and Abba will be getting value elsewhere on the map. It's an interesting one. The double support coming out from Diamond Hands is going to be kind of a main tank Blaze as well. I'll give it to Diamond Hands. We'll see how they look on that main tank Blaze here on this Cursed Hollow game number 2.
Alrighty, thank you so much, my friend McIntyre, for breaking things down as we are here ready to go into Cursed Hollow map number 2 with Diamond Hands. 1 on the board for our best of 5 series, Valimar on the Karazim, Funds on the Sylvanas, Caesar Salad on the main tank Uther, Got Filth on Cassia, and Ucky on the Blaze. Over on the side of Oxygen Esports in the red, we've got Red Robot on the Anubrak, Mater on the Junkrat, Heavy on the Lucio, Nasmus playing Dahaka, and Draded on the Abathur. Grubby, I am struggling to really like say which team I think is better because there's a lot of point counterpoint that I kind of keep having in my head. So I wrote down a Diamond Hands win. I'm going to go with my gut on that one. What do you think, and how do you think the map could potentially unfold? Oh, okay. I thought I lost you.
No, I'm here. I think Oxygen could actually do this. I think this is their most comfortable draft style. I do think it's interesting that Bad Benny isn't here. I don't think he just went MIA. I don't think he lost the internet. I think this is a special draft that Diamond Hands prepared for this map that Caesar Salad happens to be better at. Karzim Uther double support here. I think it's a planned pocket tactic, and they are activating it now on Cursed Hollow. That makes this very exciting. There's dimensions and elements to this that may be new to Oxygen. It was sick that he activated that hunting wave when he did. He knew what was going to happen. Nice job there by Funds. I think Oxygen has the lead just because it's their comfortable draft. But the fact that this is a pocket strategy makes me afraid for Oxygen.
In the sense of just it's kind of like a do or die, and if it dies, then do you think game 3 is...
No,
I
just think when you've got a substitute player that you bring in for a special hero that he can play best, you've obviously put a lot of draft thought into it, and you've probably activated upon exactly what you were planning to get. It's also nearly impossible to prepare for it because there's essentially no main tank this game. Valamar's on Uther, he's the healer. We all remember Uther main tank, but it's Valamar on the healer, right? And then you've got Aki is on Blaze. That means that they're playing it in a non-main tank type of fashion. Bad Benny isn't here to do those creative gank rotations. So they feel that this is going to win purely based off of macro.
Okay.
Of course, team fight as well, but what I mean is they don't need creative engages. The game plan is written out within this strategy. I hope I'm conveying well what I'm trying to say here.
No, it makes sense to me. It's basically what you're saying is that Diamond Hands can't play without Bad Benny, and they're going to lose this game, right?
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Actual
Grubby.
nightmare.
but we have our first tribute coming up, and no, thank you for breaking it down because I was curious to get your deeper thoughts onto all of this and see how things start to unfold as we do have our first objective up in the center of the map. Nasmus kind of walking around, gonna check this camp on the left-hand side as the fight still breaks out. Valamar punching his way through Madara's health pool, but Heavy is gonna be able to amplify things up a little bit, boost that healing, and this is really cool. We have air ally from the Karazim. We don't see this super often. What it does do, the big thing in all of this, is vision, but also spell power. It's one thing I feel like a lot of people forget about Air Ally is that it gives 15% spell power to your friendly members, and you have a large vision area, so setting up around these objectives around a Dahaka who wants to flank in as well, who maybe hides in a bush. I really like this. Also, to see if there's any steel traps or concussion mines that might set up in a bush to catch you off guard. Same thing with the Abathur mines. He's not an Abathur mine build, but still, you walk into a bush with a few mines, you're going to get chunked quite heavily if you're a Sylvanas, as the objective phase stalls out, and that's exactly what Madara and crew want on Oxygen. They want to stall that objective. Dahaka and Abathur find a lot of value in these moments with the stalled out objectives. Got Filth, a little split, turns on to this Junkrat, and first blood found in favor of Diamond Hands as a huge inner light blinds the enemy side. Oh no, not even inner light. I thought it was inner light, but anyways, this is gonna be Caesar Salad. Getting tongue dragged, backing off, Got Filth is a target. Valamar punching his way onto Heavy, who's very low. Red Robot missing the burrow charge. Nasmus, who brush stocked up, and Uki on the Blaze is still doing the rotations because there's an Abathur. It's 4v4 up in this top lane in favor for, I would say, Diamond Hands, kind of with their superior poke and better rotations with the Blaze.
And that kill was huge. By the way, small little correction. It's Valamar on Karazim, right? Like, I just assumed because he locked Uther that he was on that as I was looking at other things. But it's Caesar Salad on the Uther, Valamar on Karazim. Doesn't change much the fact that this is a pocket strat. But yeah, the fact that Diamond Hands is able to get that kill there while also continually applying side lane pressure with Sylvanas and Blaze and suppressing the Abathur, that is very encouraging for Diamond Hands.
Ooh, that's a very low Heavy.
Nice damage by Godfield. Good accuracy there as well. keep in mind though that this is a janky Oxygen comp that is designed to stall, and they are still doing that. How much stall they can get, whether they can get to level 20, which is Abathur's biggest power spike with Hive Mind, that remains the question. But this is full stall, and they are activating upon it. Probably a Monstrosity game, and I feel like Monstrosity is very powerful against double support. Right now, double support doing good, but I feel like that does tilt a bit in Oxygen's favor. So whatever advantage Diamond Hands has, they need to keep actioning on that.
Oh my god. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. It was Surgilite that we keep seeing from the Cassie. I thought I misread the talents, but the first curse does go over to the side of, or excuse me, curse point or tribute. There we go. Goes over to the side of Diamond Hands, as I kind of feel like Oxygen was losing out on the stall. Like 10 Talontier got hit first on the left-hand side. Bunker, Ball Lightning, Divine Shield, Sylvanas holding. We actually could see, I thought we might see a Mind Control, but no, it's going to be a Wailing Arrow and 7-sided Strike from the Karazim as Funds gets the Haunting Wave. Really well read by Red Robot, but Caesar Salad comes in with a little bit of healing. The Divine Shield is dropped, and that's a big gain from Nasmus to be able to pull out that 90-second cooldown, as our next objective phase will be on the right side of the map and should be announced fairly soon.
Yeah, Cleanse was used to secure the tribute, and Uther didn't get enough auto attacks to bring Hand of Protection back in time, so Divine Shield was indeed forced. Like you said there. Yeah. And Oxygen will continue their stalling tactics and trying to get side lane pressure. And note that this is a mule game as well. If you go full on the teamfight Hive Mind power, then you may see a teamfight ability there, like the networked carapace. Oh, boss fight.
Ucky comes in with this Blaze Jet Propulsion. There's a Red Robot Burrow Charge. It won't connect. Bunker comes down from Blaze Cocoon onto the Cassie on the bottom of our screen as Heavy's trying to push off into the backline. There's an isolation going out onto Valimar, who's just trying to back off right now, getting poked by the Junkrat. Ucky comes in with another Jet Propulsion, but he's very low. Throws down some oil, or uses the Pyromania, but Ucky will go down. Got Filth, jumps into the enemy's team's face, pops a Ball Lightning, 7-sided Strike comes out. That is a Heavy and a Red Robot kill, as that's, oh my god, Grubby! How insane! You lose your Blaze, but you turn things around with Got Filth just 1v4ing and carrying the team fight? That is a massive play from Got Filth.
Yeah, it's insane that Godfield knew that he could jump in like that. He dropped low, but he managed to deal so much damage. Recognizing when those 1v3s are actually sane and not just insane is fantastic. And many resources were used, of course, on Ucky. Love to see teams being able to know when they can go in and make use of those missing cooldowns. And Diamond Hands turns it in a big way. Oxygen, lucky for them that Madara even survived.
Boss through bottom lane, gained by the side of Diamond Hands, and a few kills found as well, as it's 4-1, and this Abathur composition is spiraling. Now Abathur is keeping that experience close between both sides, but there is still that just looming half-ish level lead for the side of Diamond Hands, as Funds is going to be doing that split pressure. Nasmus has to come and respect this or deal with it, has the Abathur hat, has a lot of really good damage. Wailing Arrow into the isolation, and Funds is going to actually turn onto Nasmus, maybe pretending or feigning that their friendly team is rotating up, but Diamond Hands showed in mid, opening up the fort front gate with no curse potential, but this would be leading into the curse for the side of Diamond Hands if they can get this next tribute. But Oxygen, they want it as well, as they have their 13s, and this is the big thing from 13 here, Grubby, that I have to note: Primal Swarm for the Dahaka. Armor reduction is big.
Armor reduction quite big indeed. He's going to come in with the flank. Nasmas, can he find his mark? He wants to ideally get Uther. He does. Nice lick there on Uther. Uther will use D-Shield on himself as Blaze uses Bunker. Aki left in a really weird spot. Is able to go back into the bunker. 25 armor, minus 10 from Blaze is 15. This will not be on the test. Aki runs away. 40 armor from Pyromania. He's gonna go away. Whoa, wait, who's that?
Got Filth. They got
sometimes you don't get it right.
They got Cocoon that time, unfortunately.
Okay,
yeah, the Cocoon went out super early. Draded with the clone, tries to get the chase kill onto Funds, who's actually almost pincered or pinched by the enemy Oxygen members, who did start to rotate and try and catch Funds in the disengage. But now Abathur, Mule is going to be healing up quite a bit of HP through that top lane, or that bottom lane keep. In top lane, we are having the Siege Giants come through, and Red Robot, They start the boss, but now, I don't know if you make it out of this one, Nasmus. He's got Essence, he's got Isolation, he's got an Abathur hat.
50 spell
He's
armor.
okay. Boss still going.
Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, they're still doing the boss. Yeah, but they're so slow at it.
And Ucky and friends know, jet propulsion in. Blaze doesn't find the connection. Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas does come out. Fun's taking a lot of damage. There's just so much on the battleground right now. A bunker, the 7-sided strike, a cocoon onto Got Filth once again. Fun's very low, Valimar low as well. Air ally comes out, instantaneously destroyed. Cleanse onto this Cassia, but the Sylvanas gets picked off. Caesar Salad and crew are trying to turn things around, but they find the Anubrak kill. Uther has a few little ghost heals, a triple kill for the side of... a quad kill for the side of Oxygen, and I think Nasmus, you're going to go down here as well. No counterplay. Pentakill for the side of Oxygen. They have Curse. Actually, no, you just go for Curse. I was like, do you go for, do you delay out Curse, then you go for, delay out Curse, go for boss, then get the Curse so you have a little bit more time. But I think the death timers, they just wanted to get this instantaneously out. Maybe Abathur soaks the lanes real fast.
Yeah, I think Abathur is the changing factor. Otherwise, they should have played it like how you mentioned it. First, get a little bit of lane control, get the boss first, then activate on the Curse. But because Abathur can clean up so much XP here and there, maybe it's actually worth to play it like this. This fight was incredible. Very much a support play of the day kind of moment for me. As heavy there on Lucio, what happened is he turned on High Five, which blocked the Wailing Arrow on himself and Junkrat as he felt or saw it coming, which is super sick. No silence on himself. That allowed him to cleanse a Nubarak, who then was able to do an unbullied, unstopped double CC engage on everyone else. And then it was just crazy. Obviously, Nasmas soaking and dealing so much damage with that full Dark Swarm build. You love to see it. It's a fantastic fight. First time that Oxygen was really able to win a full-on team fight, and it gets them a lot. The boss is still pushing with 100% health. This allows them to push in mid, with Sylvanas being absent. But they're not satisfied with that. We see Anubrak. Oh, Anubrak with the flank?
He did kind of show in the minimap by grabbing the vision. So there was the expectation from Valimar and friends as a little bit of a CC thrown up by Red Robot. Sylvanas still working on that boss through the top lane. Mid lane will be saved or controlled by Diamond Hands as the oil slick comes out. Dahaka and crew are kind of getting chased in. Sylvanas is looking to engage onto this, but the engagement pops out onto Got Filth, who's way too deep. The ball lightning will go out, but it doesn't find much value. Draded is the clone Junkrat. You can kind of tell from the model, or just remembering that Draded playing the Abathur, but either way, the Boston top lane found the fort, got a little damage on the keep front gate, and this is Diamond Hands not looking so rock solid in this Cursed Hollow game, Grubby. It's looking better and better for the side of Oxygen as they constantly shut down these team fights or even just find one kill. I think Red Robot's cocoons have been the MVP in a lot of these moments. Heavy's healing, of course, as you were mentioning, very on point as well.
Yeah, I think just now Cassia was deep, but he was expecting the D-shield, and Red Robot hit a over-the-bush burrow charge into Impale that hit both Uther and Cassia. That's how Cassia was actually able to die without the D-shield popping, so it was fantastic play by Red Robot. Nasmas just living freely on that side. Wait! 2 people stuck there. Valimar still on the Karazim, but the turn! Diamond Hands is turning this. They got the kill on the Nubarak. They were able to survive with the bunker, with the double support there. They're able to start reclaiming this boss. They are still down 1.5 level, but this is what Diamond Hands needed to stabilize.
So mid lane fort falls, and this is technically the members of Oxygen finding advantage on the map. It was actually kind of even in structures before that with only forts in mid lane available. So you have periodic catapult pressure consistently in your favor through mid, and you have matched periodic catapult pressure through top and bottom right now on both sides. But boss through bottom lane is coming through. We have our next curse in bottom as well. I'm watching minimap as we're kind of flying around the map right now and just peeking and seeing what the setup looks like. Red Robot down for the next 9 seconds on a Nubrak. So I'm thinking this is just, 2 out of 3 points or tributes over to the side of Diamond Hands and Oxygen. Fight over the next objective with what you'd assume to be 20 talent to your advantage, but who knows within the next minute and a half you should be able to find a whole level in a minute and a half if you spread across the map, and I think that's the play.
Yeah, and maybe like they blunder into vision, Uther stands there with a Benediction stun, but that's not happening right now. Anubrak checks the bush, retakes the vision, and I do think it is within grasp for Oxygen to have that 20 advantage. The moment they have it, they probably are going to want to start acting on it by applying some kind of pressure. It can just be as simple as vision pressure. Take top watchtower, push out lanes, or don't show. Or you could do like a straight up attack into a keep wall somewhere. But I think that carries an inherent risk, as it can be, well, it can go out of control. This seems like a large gap though. 45 seconds to just wait near boss feels like a lot.
I'm looking at a Nubarak. Sorry, Grubby. I was doing some math really quickly for myself because Trader King gives you 20 spell armor. I wanted to see if it stacked with Nerubian armor, or not Nerubian armor, but he had 60 spell armor at one point, so he's getting stacking from somewhere, and I was just curious to try and find out where it was from. But now, Curse. Actually, does Diamond Hands, they leave this? Yeah, there's no 20, so I think this is the safe, easy play. You let the enemy team get one channel, you go back and you keep clearing out the lanes. It's a tenuous game. It's really back and forth. I can actually start to feel a lot of the tension from both teams. It feels like a misplay from either side could be massive. It could yield a keep going down. Death timers are getting long, so maybe even a keep and the game. Siege value, pretty good on the side of Diamond Hands. Siege value on the opposing side, it's not awful, but it's way less than Diamond Hands from
Let's
Oxygen.
jump Oxygen calls.
Let's go.
We'll make
I've
it in time
ISO.
for sure.
I'm gonna Uther.
Alright, just
I'm
stay
on
on the
point, I'm on
point.
point.
I feel it's on me.
Someone
God
finish
feels on me.
point?
He used me already. He used
Okay,
me
we're good, we
already.
got it.
Okay, I need
Super
to
low. I'm healing, I'm healing. I got cancelled.
I'm out.
Kill healing.
Kill Kagafis. I'm ulting in there.
Okay, I'm with you, Nazmus, I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's a carries him on me. Just, okay, I mean, easy clap. Just kill this guy and move on the
Throwing
game.
them.
Stay
Kill
together.
the-
I beat 1 second to come back to you.
I mean, we. Alright, go on, boys. We did it.
Oh, Uther's back.
Watch out for the res. I'm. Double kill! Oh my god! I love this down, boys.
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
gone, by the way.
We're bad.
These guys are dying.
Grubby with the perfect call to enter comms as we see a domination from Oxygen Esports. You can even hear in their comms how excited they are to shut down the members of Diamond Hands. Oxygen rushes through top with Boss and is going to be able to shut down Curse Hollow. It's not a 3-0 series. We're going to go 1-1 between Oxygen and Diamond Hands. Extremely well played in that end team fight, shutting down any sort of possibility for Diamond Hands to turn things around and get themselves a 3-0 against Oxygen. The standings are in shambles. The doubters are cheering, and I gotta get McIntyre back in instantaneously. Are you cheering? Are you? What's the reaction from McIntyre after a series or a match like that?
The Junkrat talent. I'm trying to look at the name
Dirty
of it right
Trickster?
now. It's the real deal. The double kill picked up there from Madara, cleaning that game up. We saw again Junkrat main and a carry happening for Oxygen, able to take the win because of it. I was concerned going into the start of this game. Double support comps are typically really team fight focused, right? And kind of meant to win the team fight, but Oxygen with this draft able to find really good engages and kind of even sustain through the double support of Diamond Hands, winning team fights over and over again off of that Junkrat, double Junkrat even, going ultimate evolution there on the Abathur, not going for the pet split push strategy. Very interesting game. I did not see Oxygen going this route, right, to just take the team fight to them. But I was saying at the beginning of this game, it seems like these teams are just wanting to hit as hard as they can against each other. And I think this was a great display of it. Able to clean up that team fight there at the end on that boss. It's hard. I'm excited for this next game, right? Where these drafts go. Is Blaze main tank the real deal, right? Or does he need that kind of second engage to activate himself? As you said, Grubby, coming from the front and looking for the engage, it seems very hard for him. He continues to get caught out because of it and taken down. So I guess we'll see here in this series, game number 2 finishing up for Oxygen.
We're sitting at 1-1 on both sides. It's an exciting series indeed, and it's not over by any means. This is only we're getting ready for only map number 3 in this best of 5 series. We're going to take a short little break, let these players stretch their legs and figure out what map they want to go to. In that time, I encourage you all to hit ! prize pool in chat to get yourself over to the custom match arena page. And if you'd like to donate towards that prize pool, it's always appreciated and welcomed. We are at $12,605. Thank you to anyone who rounded up the change on that. That is just, thank God. Anyways, thank you all for supporting HeroesCCL. We'll be back with match number 3 between Diamond Hands and Oxygen Esports. Don't go anywhere. We got HeroesCCL action just in a little bit. Welcome back to HeroesCCL. I'm still Bahamut, joined by Grubby and McIntyre, and we're sitting here 1-1 with Diamond Hands versus Oxygen Esports in our second best of 5 of the day. And I'm a little surprised here. This is not the way that I expected things to go. After game number 1, it was looking so good for Diamond Hands, the way they just shut down Oxygen. And then now we go into game number 2, Cursed Hollow. Things didn't look the best for Diamond Hands in that. Oxygen actually kind of ran around the map. There were a few moments of life that Diamond Hands had with the inner like Cassia diving in and shutting things down around the boss, but in the end, McIntyre, it was a dominant play from the side of Oxygen that put us into this 1-1 score for this best of 5 series. Are you surprised, excited, or maybe thoughts on the series so far?
Yeah, I think it's really showcasing Oxygen's ability to, be flexible, right? The Avatar pick from them is not something that we typically see nowadays, right? So seeing it on Cursed Hollow, pairing it with that Junkrat, pairing it with that Dahaka. I mean, personally, I love Dahaka and Avatar. I think like Dahaka lacks just that little bit of damage. I remember playing even on a certain map, Dahaka Avatar. It's so powerful, right? It allows you to get that solo pick potential, or just dig into the middle of the enemy team, and the speed hat, the AoE slow, right? And speaking of the map that Dahaka and Avatar was really strong on, we have map number 3 here for this series, which is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen by Oxygen. So we'll see if they choose to go Dahaka Avatar again on this map. It just used to be so strong, right? Fighting for that bottom lane, super important, and being able to kind of find picks on your own as the Dahaka in the bottom lane. I think solo kills on this map can be so impactful because it allows your team to not only open up space on the top side of the map, but even the bottom side, right? To get those gems turned in for your team, and kind of get those spiders going in your favor.
It's a wonderful map for our best of 5 series. A great Cho'Gall map as well, Funds, as you promised me. If you make a deal with me on Twitter and I come through on my end, Funds, you got to do the same. Maybe that's the reason why they swapped Bad Benny back in as the main tank role, is we will not see Caesar Salad in map number 3. So maybe it was compositional, maybe it was Bad Benny needed to go eat a slice of pizza. We'll never know unless we ask them in the winner's interview if Diamond Hands wins. But we're here ready to go into Tomb of Spider Queen. Grubby, we haven't heard from you. I want to get your thoughts on the map, the draft, the series. Just what are you thinking right now, Grubby?
I was just looking at the score, Bahamut,
Sure.
and Diamond Hands has just lost the chance with that loss to overtake Oxygen in the standings, even if they win the next 2.
Okay.
So Diamond Hands is not going to be top 5, guaranteed. They're either going to be 6th or 7th. If they win the next 2 games, they also still cannot overtake WildHeart, except if WildHeart loses. Yeah, okay, so Diamond Hand can still play for 6th or for 7th. That's what they need this victory for. Because WildHeart tomorrow could lose to Granite Gaming. Unlikely. So if and I'm just going to speed this up because the draft is underway. Oxygen can still overtake Chili Mountain if they end up winning this series. So they're very motivated score-wise to need to do the best they can. Both have at least 1 rank that they can improve, so the match still matters.
I like how we got like 1.5 Grubby really quickly right there. It's just like, oh, let me get through this. But anyways, the Stitches was grabbed.
Joanna!
Hey, the Joanna's coming through. Okay, so the shield glare scaling, it's no big deal. Like, and you know, maybe I was a little too much onto that factor. Maybe the 59 damage not scaling is not the end of the world. We'll have to see though. But this is exciting.
20. Before that, it's like 30 or 15. But let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So far, both of the map victories are exactly along party lines. Diamond Hands played a Diablo comp where you get creative Bad Bunny ganks.
Okay.
And Oxygen played macro defensive poke stall. That's what both of these teams are best at. This game is looking like Diamond Hands is going to play again off the Bad Bunny pickoffs with Stitches, and Oxygen is going to play alongside the poke stall, because that's what Johanna represents. You're going to see things like Chromie and Junkrat behind that normally. That's why I love that Diamond Hands picks up the Chromie now, because Johanna, Brightwing, Chromie is so hard to push into and to not allow them to stall. So I think Junkrat is a guarantee.
Okay.
Oxygen coming up.
Oh wait, no.
But they have to respect the Stitches too.
Unfortunately, no Junkrat. He did get banned out early.
He was banned.
That's brilliant by Diamond Hands. They've taken both of the best poke champs away.
What are they going to ban out in this third slot here, McIntyre? It's going to be a Maev. What do you think about everything?
Maev's good. Yeah, that was a good one. It's a character definitely Dreda is really good at, right? Just kind of the pop-off characters. But I think Oxygen, now that the Junk is banned out, they're probably going to have to go down the Hanzo route, right? Or they could go and get creative, something like a Gul'dan, right? Some wave clear. They do have to be careful, though. Stitches is on the other side, so maybe start to take the untargetables. Nope, end up going Yrel and Cassia instead. I like this Cassia pickup a lot from Madara. Could also go Valkyrie, too, to look for some picks on that Stitches. They probably still do need something to take him out. The percent damage. Karazeem's still up. We've seen that picked pretty heavily. 7-sided strike would be pretty effective, not only against the Stitches, but just kind of the whole side of Diamond Hands. See where Diamond Hands ends up going.
Deckard,
be a Deckard.
Deckard Cain will be grabbed, and alongside the Deckard Cain is Sylvanas. So I like it. Good sustained damage through the Diva Sylvanas. Follow up onto the Stitches hook with the Deckard Cain and Chromie. I'm liking Diamond Hands a ton here, McIntyre. What do you think as we also get into this last pick from Oxygen?
I think the only thing that's a little scary about Diamond Hands comp is they don't really have the follow-up. I guess we could see a Mind Control. Mind Control off the Stitches hook could be kind of that CC that they need. Oxygen going Greymane, just kind of playing the map. Also, something that does take out Stitches. They choose to go Curse Bullet. Falling Sword will be interesting as well.
I don't
maybe
think
a
it's
Falling
gonna be...
Sword. Go ahead.
I don't think this can be Falling Sword. Like when you run Cassia Greymane, the short range, I think it's going to be Blessed Shield, Valkyrie, Cursed Bullets, blow-ups.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's two. I agree completely with that strategy. My mind was thinking, and we haven't gotten to see this yet, so it's kind of a weird even thought process for myself. Falling Sword is that cleanse, right? So if a hook happens and the gorge happens, Joanna can fly in with whoever got picked up and possibly get them out with a Bright Wing Z, right?
That's true.
Or keep them even from getting hooked. If the Joanna player is really on time, Red Robot could Falling Sword on the hook that's going to connect onto the Cassia, and she would be immune to it. Obviously, this is mega big brain, but it exists, and I think that Joanna's 20 spike with that Falling Sword is something that is kind of a win condition in itself. We'll see, though. I definitely agree with you, Grubby. Bad Bunny, will he get the picks here? Will Diamond Hands win? I'm going to give it to them. I like the Stitches pick. We'll see if it's able to win here today.
Thank you so much, McIntyre, for your vote for Diamond Hands as well as your analysis and breakdown. We'll see you after Tomb of the Spider Queen as we are here loaded on into map number 3 in our second best of 5. We got Diamond Hands in the blue, Valimar playing the Deckard Cain, Uki on the Diva, Funz on the Sylvanas, Bad Benny playing Stitches, and Gotfilth on the Chromie. Over in the red, Oxygen Esports with equal score. We got Red Robot on the Joanna. We've got Draded on the Greymane. Nazma's playing Yrel. Madara on the Cassie, and Brightwing played by Hebi. I'm leaning Diamond Hands on this one as well, Grubby. I can see a realm where both teams win, and I said this in the last series, and I've said it for a lot of games.
The
It
same
really-
realm or two different? The same realm or two different realms?
In the exact same realm, I can actually see both cars falling at the exact same moment. It's crazy. It'll be the first time in Heroes of the Storm history. I don't think the developers
Sick.
even seen this before. I think
Magic realm.
I think the big X
A
factor.
bugged realm.
A bugged realm.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're very fine. It's just the X factor in Stitches. I feel like that's the big unknown. I like the Deckard Cain follow-up. Chromie's burst is nice. Gorge from Stitches is huge. Putrid Bile is great as well. I like the Diamond Hands draft. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the two drafts for Tomb?
Yeah, I could see both Falling Sword to prevent Temporal Loop and to save himself from hooks/gorges and to prevent hook follow-ups like Sapphire and Stay a While and Listen. That's where you have Urel jumping in together with Greymane, covered by a Falling Sword trying to blow someone up. I think, though, since it's Oxygen, they like to play defense into tactical engagement. For that reason, I think it's Valkyrie Blessed Shield with Cursed Bullet on Stitches or anyone else. But both are possible, and that's pretty cool, because I think Johanna does have 2 tech routes now with those 2 heroic abilities. It had to be Oxygen, man, to show Johanna for the first time.
Of course it is, and Johanna will be going into Laws of Hope at level 1. They heal, right now they heal for 20% of their near 3000 HP pool, but for every 10 regeneration globes you gather, you'll be able to bolster that healing by 5%. So let's say you have 20 regeneration globes, you're looking at 30% of Johanna's max healing over 5 seconds. And I've seen some of these Johannas get to like 50, 60 regeneration globes on Tomb with just mass rotations. Granted, those Tomb games go a lot longer, and on the note of Tomb game length, it feels very grubby. Like that is the case. It's either super short, like 12 to 14 minutes, or we're looking at a super long game where it goes 20 to 20 some minutes. Like it's just there's 2 dichotomies. There's no middle ground on Tomb of Spider Queen.
Yeah, and I think this might be the quick one. The way, like, as we're seeing this, right? We've got 2 tanks that are essentially useless for 10 levels. I'm sorry I said it. Stitches, Johanna.
Sure.
Let's say you're Cassia or Sylvanas. You can literally walk past Stitches or Johanna and feel fine.
Unless you.
There's no
just
follow-up to hooks,
do
right?
that.
That's the problem. The problem of this draft is there's no real follow-up. Stitches, Johanna, you can just kite past them, no fear at all. And then it's about who has the better macro and the better push early game. For a while, it looked like Oxygen had that upper hand. That's why I thought this could be a quick. Oh, he's
Iron
still
Skin?
unstoppable.
Iron Skin was used, Grubby, with a couple hundred health onto Red Robot. He backs off, and we're in a killless game so far, map number 3. And it's just good rotations from both sides. But I do agree with you. Like there is like, and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people in chat who are like, but there's Deckard Cain. Like that, it's still a very slow follow up. You have the Haraja Cube animation time. You have the Scroll of Stealing animation time. It's not like a Malfurion Root, which is on the ground, or a Tyrande Lunar Flare. So I agree with you, Grubby. The follow up pre-10 is very difficult for the side of Diamond Hands. The communication in the hook has to basically, Valimar has to throw these abilities before the hook is even cast, I feel, to get value, or just has to go in on blind faith. So until level 10, where we see, I would assume, Gorge or Stay a While and Listen, which is a lot more of an insta-cast over the other 2 that are highly animated, this is going to be a bit of a ships in the night, if you will. A lot of passing back and forth, but some poke here and there onto the enemy teams, as Nasmus is 1v3 casually and is able to stall out the turn-in from the side of Diamond Hands.
If Stitches Bad Bunny going for the full Vile Gas build, it got buffed. Both the level 4 and level 7 got buffed. 13 is still really bad. So you can do minus 40% healing on anyone, which is kind of neat. And Stitches heals from Vile Gas damage, which I believe lasts a bit longer, and it also is now applied via Slam. So that's pretty solid bonus survivability for the Stitches. Is it a Gorge? Is it a Putrid? I feel like it's a Putrid. Anytime you're against like 3 to 4 frontliners, you have to have a very specific Gorge follow-up comp in order to go for Gorge, and I don't think it's there. There's no False Start. There's no Void Prison to lock out the rest. I think it's a Putrid comp because everybody on Oxygen dives. But we'll see how it goes. It is Temporal Loop. They're gonna use it on Nasmas. He's got 26 gems.
Nice Temporal Loop. The time stop comes out from Chromie as well, reducing the armor. There's going to be Nasmus trying to dive away on this Urel, and she is actually going to leave.
him.
That saved them. And also keep in mind, Dauntless at level 1 was a big factor. Nasmus reducing the auto attack damage coming into his character. while there's no kill, there was a big threat into a kill. I do love this temporal loop, and Grubby, maybe this is the not DIY Gorge value, but you don't need to take Gorge now. You can still go into the Future Bile, and the cooldown on temporal loop's 50 seconds. That's a very low cooldown. Do you know off the top of your head what Gorge is? I feel like it's 60 plus.
It's 60.
Oh, wow, I was right on point with it. All right. Either way, first web
Is it 60? Wait, is it 65?
I
It
don't.
might actually be 65. I'm checking now.
Okay, there's not a ton of heroes who have like a.
Yeah,
It's-
65.
Oh wow, okay. So usually it's like just a round number, but anyways, we have a temporal loop onto Red Robot. He gets slammed by the stitches, gets hooked as well. The heavy cleanse is a little too early. Red Robot with 30 gems is gonna get hit with the Heraldric Cube, which reduced healing. But no.
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 That was Vile Gas. The level 7.
Oh, you're
from,
right. Yeah, because
Stitches.
7 is Kanai's Cube. It wasn't even the Emerald. Wow.
Yep. You know, that was all Stitches. Minus 40% heal. It is Falling Sword. We're going to see the first
Nice.
Falling Sword in CCL, not played by Lauber, and the first post-rework Johanna Falling Sword. So, final reminder, everyone under the Falling Sword gets permanently, continually cleansed.
Let's go for the throat.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Gabby. You're explaining the.
He missed the main artery.
He did miss the main artery. He just couldn't get enough bleeding from the. He couldn't literally go for the throat. He couldn't get the jugular.
Yeah.
He just kind of got like a
Bad
wrist.
dog.
Just bit the wrist.
Yeah. Yep. So Savannah is fine, and she is still dead, but not in the permanent sense. Diamond Hands is fine. They didn't lose anybody. In fact, nobody lost anyone yet. It is also Putrid Bile, just confirming on that.
Yep.
Oh!
Temporal loop. Iron Skin's used. There's the falling sword. Heavy gets the blink heal in. Stitches comes in, and Chromie finds the last little bit of damage, and that damage over time on the ground from Putrid Bile, the movement speed's slow. I agree with you, Grubby. It really lets Bad Benny just step into the face of so many members of Oxygen, as Ucky's going to get popped around by Nasmus, who's sitting on 42 gems on Urel. If Diamond Hands could get a kill on Urel and deny the gems or zone the gems till they disappear, that's a mega win. But both teams are on the threshold for a turn-in. The second one for the side of Diamond Hands, first for the side of Oxygen, who are holding on to 116 gems, Grubby. 15 are turned in. Red Robot has the turn-in right here. Interrupt.
Just pay, lol.
Just pay, forehead. All right, Red Web Weavers do descend. Sylvanas in top lane is gonna get ganked.
Okay, He found the artery, traded, finding his mark. That's minus 20 gems. Nice
so.
kill for Oxygen, 1 apiece.
And Red Web Weaver's descending with a Sylvanas dead for the next 13 seconds. This is a possession Sylvanas as well, who can kind of buff out the waves. You can only steal 3 units or one catapult with the charge of 3, but still, a little bit of minion denial is always good for your team. You can buff things out and kind of push back the enemy side. Speaking of pushing, though, Oxygen through mid is going to be starting to open things up. Finds the mid lane fort. D.Va in bottom lane clears things out. Stitches waiting in the rotation to top, but there's a quick rotation recall onto Ucky in bottom. He's got Mech Explosion. Polymorph comes through.
Yeah, that's still available now, the Mech Explosion. Boost in probably about 2 seconds if he wants to use it aggressively, but Oxygen completely able to disengage from this right now. They're very safe, in fact. They still have Falling Sword. They've still got Ardent Defender. This feels like a pretty legit draft into Stitches. Even though some people are hookable, Falling Sword is that extra safety net.
Yeah.
Brightwing is a fantastic healer, right? But her biggest weakness sometimes is ranged saves, saving people at range, and that's exactly what you need against Hook. And Falling Sword now does that as Nasmas comes in from the flank. They're going on Arky, they're going on Stitches. That's a huge Wailing Arrow though. They counter engage. Oxygen, run for your lives!
Stay well and listen catches the toe of 3, and Red Robot lands inside of that Putrid Bile coming out from the Stitches. Bad Benny has Hookin available right now. Is he going to go for a hook as they disengage? Yes, there's going to be onto Madara, but the follow-up damage is not going to arrive. Chromie actually rotates into mid lane. I think that's the reason we just saw the hook go out and a disengage from still the side of Diamond Hands. But on the opposing side, Drake Dreided has 33 gems, and this is going to be Oxygen looking for the double turn-in. Can Bad Benny stall this out? Another hook onto Joanna. She pops the Condemned, looking to be able to get some value from the level 4 Subdue, and that is going to be setting up the kill into the Sylvanas. Greymane went for the throat, finds the kill. Chromie stalls things out with a timeout, picking up a few gems, but Stitches goes down. Chromie's picked off. It's a triple kill, plus the availability of Web Weavers for the side of Oxygen. They got everything they wanted, plus a free sandwich on the side.
Nice. I love free sandwiches, man. Hint.
I couldn't think of it quick enough, but it's like when you get not free sandwich, but it's like when you get those free French fries at the bottom of the bag when you get fast food takeout. Like sometimes there's
free French fries.
Sometimes in the bag, unless Cassandra eats them before you get to see them. So maybe that's the issue.
No, where are free French fries?
In the bottom of the bag.
Where's this? How are they free? You paid for them.
Well, yeah, but sometimes they fill the French fry over the bag and they accidentally like drop a few French fries in the bag, like extra.
Oh, you're talking about like bags of French fries, multiple portions in a plastic bag. They fell out. Everyone distributes their portion. You dispose of the bag, but when you're in the kitchen, you look if there's any leftovers. You're like, yeah, I disposed of the bag, just cleaning up. 6 French fries
for just you, and this might actually be a few kills as well for Oxygen as they drop the ball. Lightning Stitches is very low. Falling Sword from the Joanna, giving Dreided the cleanse factor, or the unstoppable. And this Web Weaver through mid opens up the keep front gate, Grubby, and they actually re-engage onto D.Va. She gets the time stop, gives her some armor, but she's getting chunked in the go for the throat. Or no, excuse me, that was just the Dark Flight. I thought that was the go for the throat with the noise. There's the go for the throat onto Funds, but Dreided can't solidify the kill. Oh my god, Dreided just hugs the wall and avoids the hook from Stitches.
Greymane is very loud, whether he goes for the throat or the ankle or otherwise. Sick fight there by Oxygen. They are going to be getting the keep. Falling Sword has already had some really cool value. Red Robot, they're actually looking to block the hook. But Dreided is like, get down. He actually took the hook himself.
Look at that! It is a
Sword value.
50-second cooldown. Even McIntyre was noting this, and we'll talk to him about it after the game, but I believe Falling Sword was actually also used to mitigate stay while and listen value, too, to wake people up. So I really like that, and we'll get McIntyre's breakdown on some of these nuances at the end of the game, but I know he's already sitting here geeking out over the Joanna changes, and I'll be honest, I'm loving them. Grubby, there's a couple cool things that I like with the Joanna rework as well. They gave her some Diablo 3-esque talents, like Steed Charge. Like, it's literally one of the Diablo Crusader things where you mount up for a second and you can't be unmounted. Also, this Blessed Hammer. I love the changes to Blessed Hammer with the passive value of every third basic attack against enemy heroes releases a hammer, and you also have the activatable every 30 seconds. So look at all these hammers that are going to be going around. Greymane goes in for the throat. No, he's got the Dark Flight value once again. Hook from Stitches goes out onto the minion.
No, you just go for the throat.
And there
that was the second charge. That's why the cooldown didn't show yet. You were, you were right on both counts.
Thank you, Grubby. I thought I was just losing my mind.
No, it's an 80-second cooldown, and the moment he casted the second one, it showed 73. So it's just how the UI shows. Yes, there's still a second free charge available, and it's only once he pops under 70 and doesn't use the second charge that you would know from the overlay that he had used it. You were right on both counts. He did go for the throat kill, get the Sylvana several times now, in fact. And he's really popping off here, Dreided.
I would agree. Dreided is showcasing that Oxygen is a stronger team than maybe standings relate, but someone said this actually in my Tuesday. I play Storm League with a bunch of friends on Tuesday, and we compare a lot of things to CCL. And there was one time we were playing Tomb, and it was just like, man, if we were like CCL teams, we would have got Boss plus Web Weavers timed out so much better. We still got Boss plus Web Weavers, but it wasn't succinct like this, where you have the boss arriving to keep with the Web Weaver just now descending and boss still wailing its way. I just love the timing. Nasmus is going to get hit with the temporal loop. No, it doesn't matter. Ardent Defender used. So is Falling Sword. A little overlap on some of those abilities. But still, Stitches and crew are looking to shut down this top lane push, which could be game ending if it goes the way of Oxygen. Bad Benny very low into the back line or front line or somewhere. Stay well and listen. Catches Urel. She goes down. Hook connects onto Cassia. Madara trying to actually play off of the hook value, trying to punish Bad Benny as they turn onto Ucky. He's going to get a lot of damage thrown onto him. So is Fun. Straight it goes in for the throat, but can't find the kill. That's that full cooldown, as you had mentioned, Grubby. And now the Webweaver ends through top. It is arriving through mid. The core is being slashed and bashed by the boss, and it's not enough for the side of Oxygen to call for game. But 61% of the core, no, whoa! 50% of the core will be remaining here, or have fallen, however you want to look at that glass of core HP. But it's very, very scary on the side of Diamond Hands. Oxygen, I love the way they're playing this. I cannot sing the praises of this Johanna more.
Yeah, it's been great. Damage decent, honestly. 24,000 hero damage on a Johanna. Stitches has 31,000 thanks to the Putrid Bile. Really quite solid Blessed Hammer value. He's got good amount of globes. He's got that movement speed from the level 7 Conviction. Holy Renewal for a bit more healing. Let's see, what do I normally get at 16? Oh yeah, the auto attack speed. It gets you more hammers, more CDR on abilities. Those never do too well, melee auto attack speeds in CCL. You just usually can't get it off. Madara gets looped. There's the Falling Sword. He can play completely freely.
With Heaven's Fury as well, so you have a mass cooldown. It's 10-second cooldown onto that heroic right there. Got Filth is going to go down. Chromie's the first blood in this engagement. Fun's trying to get to the backline on the Sylvanas, as there's a polymorph onto Ucky. There's another Falling Sword with the Heaven's Fury value chasing onto Valimar on the left-hand side of our screen. Thank you, Observer, for zooming out a little bit further, because the fight continues. It's going to be a double kill, a triple kill for the side of Oxygen. They are just going to run into core. There's a little bit of a split fight, but this is a Nasmus heavy. They don't need to be on core. Who needs to be on core? Draded. Draded's your big core damage dealer. He tries to pad his stats a little bit, but there's no stats to be pad. And we end with a Oxygen win on Tomb of the Spider Queen here, and it was insanely well played from the side of Oxygen. Like, Grubby, I cannot sing the praises of this team's play style, the way they deconstructed Diamond Hands and just shut down this X-Factor Stitches composition.
Yeah, exactly. This was one of the best deconstructions of a Stitches draft we have seen so far. Perhaps it's that Johanna, the new X Factor, coming in to provide that extra layer of protection where Brightwing sometimes has that weakness, that blind spot in her rear view mirror. It could be that. I also think that Diamond Hands can't really do anything with this draft. I think they focused a little bit too much on denying poke heroes from Oxygen, and I say this especially retroactively because you kind of got to see how things unfold. They did so much denial. They were like, oh yeah, game 1 we owned, game 2 we got stalled. Let's not let them stall. And then they forgot that they have no synergy with Stitches almost. Yes, there's Temporal Loop, there's some Sapphire, there's some Stay a While, but it was not easy or short cooldown combos. And all throughout the rest of it, they were walking through a desert of Oxygen domination.
We got McIntyre back on the line. I know you're itching to talk about maybe Johanna, maybe this game, but let's get your breakdown, analysis, and overall thoughts from that Tomb of the Spider Queen game, because there was a lot that happened.
Yeah, I think you're right, Grubby. I think Diamond Hands really fell into the let's take away the 3-point shooters from the side of Oxygen, but forgot that you can just shoot layups and win, right? All the melee characters that Oxygen had, that Cassia, that Greyman, just all that pressure, I think that they brought is really nice. I'm also really impressed by that Johanna pick. I know we were kind of being creative about it when we first saw it, but it seemed like just Johanna existing in front of the Stitches just shuts off the ability to hook at all, right? It seemed like time and time again, Bad Bunny, in my opinion, as I was watching, just didn't really exist that game, right? Whereas last week, we saw the Stitches and they were just so impactful. They were just hitting hooks left and right. May have been that it's Spider Queen, not really sure, but also suggesting that I think just the Johanna being there, being able to unstoppable herself, being able to unstoppable people that get thrown in, even if she gets hooked, just jumping away with that Falling Sword may have made the difference. Could be that, could be, I think Diamond Hand's composition structurally kind of struggled where they wanted to do and kind of how they wanted to play team fights. And Oxygen's just able to pick up a really clean win here, 2-9. Just walking to core, 18-20. Couldn't have asked for a better win here in game number 3.
Map number 3 was really interesting with Tomb of the Spider Queen having this new Joanna coming in for us, and it's well proven. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we're going to head to for map number 4, and we can continue the discussion of, well, is Joanna going to be viable for Towers of Doom, the map choice of Oxygen, or is this going to be, you know, we saw it once, Grubby, it was flashy there, and it only really worked against that enemy team. Was this situational? Was this a counterplay? Or do you feel like Joanna still can be viable regardless of the enemy team's composition in her current state?
Well, I think it really fits Oxygen, first of all. They've always loved Johanna drafts. I think Red Robot is happy to revisit her. I think there's more playstyles than I previously envisioned.
Yeah.
I saw Falling Sword primarily as a defensive AoE tool. For instance, if you get Maiev Warden Cage yoinky yoinked, then you Falling Sword over it and you save all your allies. But now I see that when you have aggressive mobile damage dealers like Cassia and Greymane, when they have the confidence and the teamwork to step up, they can just create space by themselves by virtue of Johanna existing. And I don't think that's going to work as well in Storm League because assassins will not dare to step up like that in those kind of settings. But in a competitive, you now have Falling Sword engage of short-range assassins while protecting against the CC from the tank. You have got the protection of it. You've got Blessed Shield pickoffs. There are a number of possibilities with Johanna, despite her weakness of not being able to do point-and-click stun.
I gotta say, I got taught a lesson in that last game from Oxygen, and I'm gonna try more Falling Sword in my games as well, McIntyre, because I think there's so much innovation. Like you had mentioned it in our admin chat, we didn't even get to this. Like using Falling Sword to wake people up from the stay a while and listen. It's a lot of really cool stuff that Red Robot's teaching us in that last map, and potentially going into Towers of Doom.
Yep, I totally agree. And I feel like the ceiling of the skill is still not even reached yet, right? You can use it aggressively. I even on that one where he got them out of the sleep, he actually was like 10 health. It was super funny because he used it as he was about to die, and then he sees the stay a while and listen happening. He's like, oh, let me real quick get these guys out and then continue moving forward. I think it's super cool. And again, the 20 power spike, we saw it there for a bit. Game kind of ended right after, but you know, Falling Sword happened, and then it was on like a 15-second cooldown. Yeah, right? So you can keep using it over and over again as long as the other team's clumped up, running away, maybe running into your team. Use it to get people out of loop, which is, sometimes you draft a comp like with Brightwing, for example, you don't have the cleanse for loop. Having a character that can just create that for you. And we see like Lunara sometimes gets picked with Abolish Magic at 13, kind of as a character to cleanse somebody from an effect that your support may not be able to do. And, you know, having Joanna be able to do that, sure, she has to use a heroic, but it is only 60 seconds. Can kind of change the flow of a game, right? Viking's going to be the first bando here on Towers of Doom. We'll see. We'll see if we see it again. We'll see if these teams go a completely different route. But the draft's starting off a little different.
Draft is definitely starting off a lot different here with that Viking kickoff. Diamond Hands respecting Oxygen's playstyle in the past, as well as just the overall threat that Vikings can bring to a map like Towers of Doom. We'll see a Junkrat ban as well. And Grubby, maybe what are your expectations for this ban, or even just kind of first picks coming out from either side?
Well, Hogger seems to have dropped in priority. I think Stitches is still good on this map, so that's something that still can be considered, and it will be, knowing that they look at it, that they're going to want to maybe seek redemption. Immediate Cassia for Godfilth did not enjoy losing to his own heroes like Cassia and Greymane last game.
It was a really good Cassia Greymane from Madara and Draded. And what are we starting out Oxygen's draft with? Are they going to surprise us,
Brightwing.
Innovate, Tychus, Brightwing? Like,
yeah,
Junkrat's already banned out.
Offlane.
The Rexar could be a oh, I like this.
Chromie and Noob.
Chromie and Noobrack is not bad, McIntyre.
Yeah, not a normal opener for this team, but definitely a strong one too, right? Sets you up for really good shrine control. You can defend bottom really well. You can defend structures. I think another thing that Chromie does that like a lot of characters can't do is like retake a bottom keep that's lost. Like very slowly but surely she can regain control of the keep after it's been taken by your opponent, right? So I think that's a cool thing that she brings to this map. But we are going to see the Uther Hogger picked up from Diamond Hands. I think so far this draft's looking really good for them. They do need to be careful of poke, but I assume after seeing their double support game previously, they probably are looking to play it again without Uther pickup here in the first 3. See how Oxygen responds, getting rid of that Malfurion. A really good second support for the Uther.
Also has a lot of great poke with the Moonfire set up with the root, so Cassia can play off of that. And like basically Uther can stun, root, Cassia just dumps in damage. So I like this read from the side of Oxygen, as we're going to see one more ban before we get into the second half of our draft phase here. And is there any consideration, Grubby, in maybe banning out Sylvanas? I feel like it's really strong for Oxygen. No, this actually makes sense. They needed a healer too.
No time to answer. Good, because I
Sorry.
didn't know anyway.
I love Grubby. I just love asking you questions that you can't answer, and it's just perfect because you can just skirt out of there and be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." But no, Decker Kane will be grabbed. But what else do you think, Grubby? We haven't heard from you a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on the draft that's up in front of us for Towers of Doom.
Well, it seems pretty vanilla by Oxygen. They got one poke, one tank buster, one either staller or diver. Anupa's pretty good at stalling. Nazma's gonna be some kind of duo laner. Not really too worried about that. Diamond Hands looking a little bit more of a unique angle. They still need their tank. Is it just gonna be Diablo Medivh? Diablo Medivh actually sounds super good. No? Muradin Abathur. Oh,
I like that.
I don't see that a lot. Abathur Hogger.
Is it good, in your opinion? You're the Hogger main here.
I've never played Abathur Hogger. Like, I've never requested that. I think, I guess very much he's going to be a Muradin Empowerer. Hogger actually has run auto attack builds sometimes at level 4. You can empower that, but you don't really stand in auto that much against Tychus as a Hogger. So I think it's a stalling comp from Diamond Hands to play for the level 20.
Dahaka grab to match the Abathur. I lean Oxygen on this one. I'll say it really quickly. McIntyre, as we're about to load into the map while the players swap to their appropriate heroes, what are your thoughts in this game number 4? Does Oxygen shut it down in a 3-1 fashion, or do you think Diamond Hands has the composition to run this to game number 5?
I actually really like Diamond Hands draft here. I've always been a fan of the Abathur with the Muradin. I think it's really strong with the Cassia as well. I'm glad to see it picked as, the second support that the Abathur kind of is, right, and has fallen into since they've pulled back on some of his sustain. But he is really good at activating hyper carries, right? And we see this Cassia, we see the Muradin. You put it on the Muradin, he goes the aggressive talents. Haymaker, one day I'll get it. Making plays on his own because of the Abathur activating him, right? That little bit of damage. Meanwhile, the Oxygen, very standard draft. Probably gonna just safely poke at the objective, win the objectives. I mean, I personally think Oxygen's gonna win this one. I want Diamond Hands to win so we can get more games. I'll vote for Diamond Hands here. See that Abathur Muradin combo work. We'll see if they're able to find any picks there on the 2 characters.
Well, thank you, McIntyre, for your breakdown analysis as well as your prediction here as we get into game number 4. Will it go to a game 5? We'll have to find out, because Diamond Hands on the left-hand side, they're the ones who have to execute here. Ucky on the Hogger, Funds on the Abathur, Valimar on the Uther, Bad Benny on the Muradin, and Got Filth on the Cassia. Over in the red, we got Oxygen Esports looking for a 3-1 to close out today's games. We'll have Nazmus on the Dahaka, Red Robot on the Abathur, Mater on the Chromie, Draded on the Tychus, and Heavy Hooten on Deckard. I want to get your thoughts here, Grubby. That's it. I want to get your thoughts. What are you thinking?
I actually really like Uther Abathur drafts. I see them performing very well on maps like Sky Temple, and I think Towers of Doom as well. You get the option to not play for bottom lane and to bully solo laners. The damage that comes out from it is disgusting. Abathur's spike build is actually going to make any Hog Wild that much more damaging and survivable. And Cassia can be so safe, right? Like, she's the last person anyone is going to be able to be worried about, with both Abba and Uther protecting her and Hogger Muradin distracting for her. Godfilth is a comfortable, skilled Cassia. He's going to be mostly ignored, it feels like. Stormbolt miss. But yeah, I gotta give this to Diamond. I think we'll go to the 5th despite Godfilth literally getting cursed.
That dive from Red Robot and the follow-up from Draded, very on point, setting up first blood to the side of Oxygen Esports. Now, this isn't going to affect the objective phase, as we're only 1 minute into the game, roughly. First objective phase will be announced at 2:30 and will be up and available at 3 minutes. A fairly standard objective timer for Heroes of the Storm. There's a few maps where that's a little bit earlier, but we don't need to discuss that right now because we're here on Cursed with Hogger grabbing the top lane camp very early. I've been slowly seeing a shift into grabbing this camp early on and trying to get some initial pressure into that front gate. It's not the most winning lane. Obviously, bottom is the winning lane as you have the double sapper camp, a lot more map control, but still, there are gains to be had through top, extra experience from the mercenary camp, and a little denial and push potential for the side that's able to grab that camp. So I like Hogger grabbing that early. He's going to be matching into Nasmus on the Dahaka. Double rotations between Ucky and Nasmus as Bad Benny dives in. Drayda going to start dumping out some damage, gets hit with the Stormbolt. There's a scrollless ceiling from the Deckard Kane, and a stun from Uther. Valimar to back things off. He does have also the Pursuit of Justice for that movement speed after you use the Hammer of Justice, 25% movement speed, so just 5% slower than mounted speed. As Bad Benny avoids the Impale from Anubrak, but the Burrow Charge will connect back and forth in bottom lane, but the back and forth is all around the Sapper camp being forced in by Oxygen. There's only 2 Sappers left. They're very low. Chromie finding a lot of damage into the enemy team, forcing Murden to Dwarf Toss away. One Sapper connects, the other dies on the charge. Abathur in mid is actually being... Okay, sorry. Nasmus was like on top of Abathur's model, and I was like, did Nasmus already burn through a gate, Grubby? No, but the gate is damaged. Fun's little threatened right there in mid.
Yeah, that skirmish was pretty good for Diamond Hands. They let one Sapper go through, like he said, but they're scaling a little bit better. Murden gets his quest at 10. Uther's getting his quest. There's Spear quest from Cassia, so they're happy with those skirmishes. Hogger also has gone for the quest, the auto attack quest, where he casts Staggering and gets bonus auto attack damage. They're gonna move in now for the final objective, Heaviest Channeling. There's no way they're gonna let him get it. Traded. Getting some good damage on Bad Benny, but he just turns on the minigun. He gets one auto attack off.
Ucky, not Ucky, excuse me. Yeah, Ucky actually almost finds the setup kill into Red Robot on the Anubrak, and let me check really quickly. They don't have well for another 69 seconds, so double channels will go over to the side of Diamond Hands. Oxygen Esports sitting at 32 core HP, but Diamond Hands at 36. Now, we are we're through our first objective phase, and this is, I feel like, we're a Sky Temple, where Towers of Doom really takes off, Grubby. Some of these objective phases that will be spawning will be single, and that's where we'll see a nice 5v5. Pre-10, that's a fight in favor of Oxygen. Post-10, when you have the clone, that's huge for Abathur, for Diamond Hands, but I can't believe that Valimar didn't get picked off. Bad Benny re-engaged on, and 2 enemy heroes sitting at 50% HP, Heavy and Drayed low on the backline as well, so we'll see a bit of a stall. Nasmus continuing the rotations, and a little scouting onto this camp from Chromie with that Time Walker's Pursuit from level 1.
Yeah, Bad Benny did good peel there against Tychus. That's how Uther managed to survive. Also, right before Uther got stun rooted, he managed to land that hammer that still gave him residual bonus movement speed to get away post-burst. So that was really solid. Now we have a heroic being reached, Chromie. She gets slowing sands. Let's see if they can leverage that for bonus advantage. Perhaps zoning into the Sapper camp, or not allowing it to be taken. Hogger shows up. He's already taken whatever he wanted top, and he's gonna show up. Anubrak takes a lot of damage. Valimar unable to get in position to cut off his retreat.
Double Sapper camp. No, sorry, 1 Sapper camp through bottom. I just misread all of the models here. These Sappers are just nearing the range to potentially get the charge onto that tower, as Gotfilth is being forced back. Still have 1, 2 Sappers, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Sappers actually go in. Oh, that one. Okay, so 2 go into the tower, 1 go into the fort. Single altar in the middle of the map here. No 10 talents here except for Chromie slowing sands.
Did you see that, Bahamut? The Sapper went for the fountain, got bashed upwards of the head, and then went into fort instead.
Kind of helping out the Sapper there, as Red Robot has some insane body blocking. Nasmus getting low. Tongue Drag, though, will connect onto Valimar. Valimar in this bush, in the slowing sands grenade from Tychus, locks them in, and that is a dead Uther. He is just pinched, pinned, and picked off.
I think Aki is dead too. That was a bad spin. He's left in the middle. Slowing sands cuts off the retreat on one side. Time trap, kind of unnecessary, but... And this is not the power spike yet for Diamond. They got caught big time by drag and lacked the discipline to sound a full retreat. Aki did a spin through the wall. He said, let's see where this ends up. Now we know.
That also was a great example of what I was talking about earlier, where Diamond Hands, they'll struggle in these single lane altar phases when it's 5v4 without having their 10 talent tier. That's coming through in a moment, but they're going to be punished on the side of Diamond Hands. Oxygen will find Fort through bottom. 1, 2, 3 sappers do go through. I was hoping that they'd be able to burn down the tower, maybe be able to walk in one sapper. But the big storyline in all this, equal core HP. So it is kind of equal game or equal footing for this game, as we do see top lane Bell Tower being converted, or they're attempting it. Madara coming in. We have a little bit of a stall into Nasmus, and a double altar phase will come through mid and bottom next.
Vicker thinking of rotating up here. He's going to land a bit of a root and a slow. He manages to get the slow, the Sapphire. Bad Bunny takes a lot of damage. There's They Want. Listen, Fun's actually with Avatar Clone manages to get the interrupt. Got Phil, Ball Lightning, gets the Divine Shield, able to step up, but doesn't. Knows that if he goes in, he's going to be out of position. That's almost every heroic being used for Diamond Hands, and no result.
Still have their Shockwave from the Hogger, which is, you know, maybe they can play off a Murd and Stormbolt or something like that, get some chain CC. The issue is getting into the backline to set that up so that Cassie can then dive in with the Fend. It's a double altar phase, Grubby. Do you want to jump into comms now, or maybe wait till later in the game?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to listen to the Diamond Hands comp, a little bit more special one, the Hagar Abba. Let's see how they approach this.
Into Diamond Hands we go.
Try to get it before the shots if we can.
Oh god, I'm getting sniped.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Maybe we can like force a boss.
Burr on him.
15.
I have clone 15, clone 15.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be bot. I think we just do this.
Okay.
No D shot for 20 though, careful.
I thought was support.
We worried about bot shots at all?
I mean, we're trading for boss. You can try it stuff, but
Throw me bot.
we really want 13 so I can zoom around.
Yeah, nothing to do topside now.
A boss to be grabbed, but a double altar phase traded out in favor for the side of Oxygen, as it's 20 to 28 in core HP. Hogger is going to scout out the enemy team in this bush. Big Stormbolt pierces through the enemy members, as you mentioned, Groby. You do have that new change on the Stormbolt, the baseline, where you get the piercing and the cooldown reduction at level 10. Big stay a while and listen, catches 2. What's the turnaround?
There's the Drag Tongue. The isolation on Hagar. He gets cleansed, he spins. It doesn't do much. Neither damage nor pummel, no 13 yet. It's a disengage from Diamond Hands. Can Red Robot catch anyone? There's the slowing overkill from Drada to prep them. They've made it back to the castle walls. Open the gates and let them in.
That or just jump into the moat and hope the alligator doesn't eat you. Bad Benny jumps over the wall into Madara, gets a big setup onto this Chromie. She's trying to dump out damage as the ball lightning from Cassia does come out. There's a clone, I believe, onto Cassie. Yes, 2 Cassia's funds.
Good spin.
It's a very good spin from Hogger. Red Robot looking to get near the wall to maybe burrow charge away. Heavy, very low on the Decker Kane, is in an awkward spot. Bad Benny's so very low. Cassia Fend goes onto Madara. 1 auto attack is necessary. Funds finds that kill onto Chromie, but Uther does go down. A trade. Ucky gets hit with the grenade. The melting point won't have enough damage over time for a kill onto the Hogger, but still, Uther for a Chromie. The Fun's already used the clone, and now Dahaka is already in position. Nasmus to get 4 shots out. We have this is awkward actually. For some reason, Tychus and Nubrex are heading top for this objective phase. Maybe they just assumed they wouldn't get it.
Yeah. I think they don't want to fight without Chromie. I did think it was going to be good for Diamond Hands because I think Abba is better the smaller the skirmish is. And it's basically 4v4 if you count Abba. It is interesting though.
Yeah.
Maybe Oxygen could have fought for it. They had Odin, they could stall. But I guess you want to avoid marginal fights you're not sure about as much as possible against Avatar, wouldn't you think? Because he gets that continuous side lane pressure value potentially.
And now we're trading bottom lane Bell Tower for top lane Bell Tower, and that's where I kind of sit here and I go, was it worth it with the positioning? Why was that call had? Well, we may never know. We just may never know. But 16s are on the horizon for both teams. A little bit closer for Oxygen Esports, as Bad Benny and friends are just going to get poked up by Chromie, the Sapper Camp through bottom lane. One of them did go into the bottom lane Bell Tower as it got converted. These next 2 will be cleared out. Stun from Uther, a lot of damage onto Red Robot. He burrows away as Aki does not get the shockwave onto him.
Shockwave connection.
Did not connect, and Hog Wilds away.
Would you say he was left hanging?
Okay.
Since his waves didn't hit. Oh no, that's a high five. Never mind. The Bad Bunny jumps in to the other side, saved by the Bad Bunny. Engage. He does not. He does still have Avatar, but he almost immediately goes down.
Divine Shield is
Shield was
necessary
needed.
to keep him alive. Funds on the clone in the backline trying to make something. And I don't know why he tried to dwarf toss into the enemy team's face, but that's going to be a Murden going down. Melting point from Draded. That grenade almost getting the snipe onto the Cassie as Abathur was hanging around. Triple altar phase coming up with Murden dead for 26 seconds. This could be double altar phase for the side of Oxygen, finding 10 damage into the enemy side core. I don't see a world where Oxygen gets all 3 of these altars. I feel like you have to have an insane godlike play into this. So 10 shots, rain into the enemy side.
Well, yeah. Diamond Hands is not going to chance. They know Tychus is bots, but they can't stall for long enough, especially without Muradin. And like you said, 10 shots go to Oxygen, and that brings us to the boss. It's back in 1 minute and 5 seconds. 10 shots is just enough to still have the flexibility to make various plays, but as soon as you drop like 8 or below, you pretty much always only have 1 win condition because you have so many loss conditions, let's say. Oxygen, in that sense, is comfortable. Leading in XP, but you can never sit on your hands. It's risky because...
They're not on the keyboard, yeah.
Yeah, they're not on the keyboard. You thank you. You gotta play the game.
You definitely gotta have your hands on the keyboard to play the game, unless you're Lobber and you play Storm League with your feet. You know, there is that consideration as well.
He did that once.
He did do that. I'm just waiting for the day when he plays Storm League with just his face. Like he just uses his nose.
Just his nose.
Yeah, just his nose or his tongue. Like maybe he has to, he shifts abilities with his tongue and then hits the ability with his nose. Who knows? Maybe that's for Lobber to figure out one day.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Nice.
Who knows?
Thank you. Who knows? Lauber. So. Good situation for Oxygen. They may actually have enough time to protect their bottom fort as well. They gotta be really fast. Do they want to? Nah, they could just let it go and play for top, I suppose.
Ooh, Dahaka's already on boss. So this represents, this is why they're giving it over on the side of Oxygen. Because this represents a win condition if Oxygen's able to get both altars. And since both altars are in the top of the map, the rotation and the grouping of the friendly team is all there. And Sapper's threatened bottom. Oh, this is great. This is good.
Sappers, 10 minus 4 is 6, minus 3 is 3, 1 altar. Okay, I've just done the math and Diamond is in trouble. Diamond Hands.
Okay, hold on. Big fight gonna break out. Red Robot taking a lot of damage. Ball Lightning is bouncing from player to player. Almost finds the kill into Red Robot. Bad Benny trying to step into the enemy side with the Avatar form. He's very low. Has to dwarf toss away. Currently have a clone onto, I believe that's gonna be a Cassia, but the Hogger goes down. Funds is the clone Cassia. Got Filth. The real one goes down. A Nubarak traded out. This is a 2-for-1 and a single altar remains. Can the members of Oxygen shut this down? Bad Benny jumps in. Valimar comes in with this Uther. This has to be the most titanic, heroic defense from the side of Diamond Hands. Tongue Drag is going to connect. Bad Benny gets shut down. Valimar is going to eat a sand blast from Chromie. The GGs are called. Abathur comes in to try and save the day. All 5 members of Diamond Hands go down. The series goes over to Oxygen in a 3-1 fashion. Well played, Oxygen. They shut things down on Towers of Doom, and they take the series here. Controlled, calculated, and well played from the members of Oxygen. Grubby, what do you think about the closeout of that game, or just maybe your takeaway of that game?
I think Oxygen showed a really wide breadth of play. Like, not breadth with the D. I don't know how to pronounce. Like, I'm not making an Oxygen pun here. They did it. They didn't just play poke, stall, comp when they played Abathur, but they also played aggression with Johanna on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And here they just had a classical 1 macro plus 4 traditional heroes with, by the way, we didn't mention it.
What?
Locust Swarm. Locust Swarm on the Nubarak, as he is pretty much the only frontliner in many of these engagements. Really cool play by Oxygen. Lots of different drafts, well played, and this game wasn't too close. Or was it, McIntyre?
Not so close. Yeah, definitely not so close. It was fun to see the Avatar pick, right? I was hoping that we would find success with it from the side of Diamond Hands, but I think the comp that Oxygen drafted, that split push from the Dahaka, the pressure, just able to get them ahead and find the victory. I will say I am a little caught off guard. What are the logistics of streaming and using your tongue to press buttons? Is that even? Can we even do that? Is that allowed?
Is that why you're
Oxygen out anymore?
Oxygen not using their nose and tongue to press buttons, using their fingers, doing really well here, cleaning up this series in a 3-1 victory.
McIntyre was adding me and he was just like, "You okay?" And I was like, why is he asking me if I'm okay? It's like, oh, right, yeah, I was talking about ridiculous ways to play the game. You know, it's not ridiculous. Getting an interview here with Cavalier Guest. We, I believe, have him on the line ready to go to ask him a few questions about this series. And Cavalier, my friend, can you hear us? How are you doing?
I can hear you guys great. I'm doing really well right now. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great. We just saw an amazing series. And now, for anyone that doesn't know you, I want to quickly let you introduce yourself a little bit here. What is your role within Oxygen Esports, just so we can kind of let everyone know at home, well, what do you do for them?
So I'm the coach for Oxygen Esports. I've been coaching Heroes of the Storm competitively for a long time. I was a HGC coach, back in the day for Gale Force Esports. So I've been around for anyone in the stream who doesn't know who I am. And I don't know, saying I'm a coach, like a lot of people don't understand what a coach really does, I think, in a lot of cases, but I help the team stay focused. I set goals. We developed, this season actually, we developed a whole new shot calling system that I've always wanted to try and never got a chance to, and that's something we've been working on very extensively. So it gives you another pair of eyes. It gives you a conflict resolution sort of person as well, because teams are always going to have conflict. 5 people will never be, have unanimous consensus about anything.
I'm blue shocked face at that last statement. Now I want to throw it over to Grubby for a question or two to you, my friend.
Yeah, Cavalier, really interesting to see a team like Oxygen that has a lot of strategical play styles. Like I see them as a great defensive team, great macro team. To see you come in with various different styles, like I don't know if you were listening just now at the end of the cast, with the Johanna comp, the Anubra comp, and then you also had the Avatar composition. Different styles. Before you were mostly best sometimes at the beginning of the season at long range artillery poke and then just playing macro. Now you showed all kinds of different styles. Would you say that's fair, or?
I think that's pretty fair. At the beginning of the season, we weren't scrimming much just because of scheduling issues. We didn't necessarily have the time to be scrimming with the way our schedule was set up for our team. And we were working really hard on some other aspects. We were setting ourselves up for long-term improvement, is the way I would put it. But then one of our players graduated high school, and suddenly he had a lot more time to scrim, which put us in a better position. And we started pushing. We wanted to be able to not be predictable in draft. Right, so I think we're the only team that has a person. Cascon is a full-time drafter, our 6th person. He does nothing but draft for us. So he spends the time thinking about these comps and the meta, and then we have to practice them and be like, are these viable, are these not viable? And when you're doing testing like that, if you're not scrimming enough, it's hard to be doing enough testing that A, you decide what's good, and B, you're actually competent at playing it. So we've been a slow burn all season.
So it's a little.
When it comes to
please, Grubby.
Short question. When it comes to post-game analysis, it can be really scary sometimes for players that are expected to work together and vibe well together when a player has something to point out, such as you died needlessly here, or I don't think you should be there. How do you prevent that kind of post-game analysis from turning into finger pointing, and how do you keep it productive?
That's actually a really difficult thing to do, and it starts with building a really good team culture where it's always the team against the problem, right? You're on the same team. It shouldn't be finger pointing. Like, could someone have played that differently to make sure that mistake was less impactful than it was, right? It's just about trust. If you trust that your team's not going to get mad at you because you made a single mistake, then that's a really good position to be in. And everyone, like, first thing I always do when I start coaching a team is make sure they really trust each other. I have things I do. I make people check in with a mood meter every time. So I'm like, at the beginning of a scrim block, I know, is someone in a bad mood or not? I always just know that. And like, okay, can we compensate for that? There's a ton of things that I do as a coach to just make sure everyone is in a good mood, happy to play the game together. No one gets upset about mistakes, but we are okay to point out mistakes. If we don't point out mistakes, we're going to keep making them and never improve.
Awesome.
Just the unsung hero of the team in a sense to keep everyone on the same level. McIntyre, I'm sure when you were playing professionally, you would have loved to have someone just kind of mood check everyone before a scrim. I want to get a few questions out from you as well for Cavalier.
I mean, I will say that is awesome to hear. One thing that, like, when I played for sure, that people's mood was super important, right? If you go into a series with the mindset that you're gonna have fun, and you're just gonna play to enjoy your time playing, I think it changes the atmosphere completely. You said that, like, you go into it, you check their mood. How do you adjust? Is there, do you guys play a mini game? Do you sing a song? How do you get people that are in a bad mood to be excited and ready to play some Heroes of the Storm?
Well, we have epic speeches from some of our players. Some of our players specialize in giving epic speeches to sort of up the energy. But no, it sometimes, like, if they're like really deep. So the mood meter is a 4-color system. It's like an XY chart of energy versus mood. If they're in the red or the blue, I'll go check in with them one-on-one and be like, is there anything I can do, or is this just a thing? And then I'll make sure we'll talk to the team about it and be like, okay, XYZ is not going to be as active on comms because he's feeling very low energy right now, so we need to compensate for that in our shot calling system. And everyone just bands together and helps, right? We're all on the same team. If one person's down, everyone else makes up for it. And I think that helps people because they're like, oh, my team's got my back, and that automatically just like ups people's energy, because then you don't want to let down your team.
Man, Cavalier,
scaling.
You've given us so much cool information. I wish we could sit here and ask you a million more questions. Unfortunately, we're not able to do so. Before we let you run out of here, are there any shout-outs that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
I'd like to shout out Oxygen's sponsor for CCL, Gunner Glasses. They actually hooked us all up with free pairs of them. These actually do reduce eye strain. I'm very surprised. I didn't expect them to be. I now wear them like all the time when I'm on the computer, and I'm very happy with them. Shout out to the team. It makes it sound like I do a lot there, but I just give them a bunch of work to do, and then they do all the actual work, so it's great. It's like, I get to take credit for it, but they did all the work, so it's fantastic. Best job in the world. Shout out to Steve, the best manager in CCL, in my opinion. I can focus exclusively on coaching. He does scheduling. He does all this other stuff that is so important for a team, in addition to all his other work with Oxygen that is important. And shout out to Twitch Chat for, being Twitch Chat. We really wouldn't have had nearly as many memes without them.
Oh, thank you so much, Cavalier Guest, for joining us. Thank you for such a wonderful interview. Congratulations on your victory, and we'll see you next week for some playoffs. Good luck in the preparation for those, and you have a wonderful night once again, my friend.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for joining us. What a nice aspect to jump into, Grubby. Like you actually get kind of you get a different aspect of the team. It's not like the player who's like, yeah, I had this call, and this call. It's we have a more overarching idea of how Oxygen Esports operates as a team, and I think that was really cool. So thank you so much to Cavalier Guest coming in. Grubby, I just want to ask you, like, as we look at the schedule, do you wish that back in the day you had like a coach to sit there and be like, hey, Grubby, are you high energy? Well, do you maybe play more orcs today in Warcraft 3? Maybe, you're lower energy, so you just play undead?
Legit, dude, that hit me right in the feels when Cavalier was talking about that. I've had people support me in the best way that they found possible, and I'm incredibly grateful for everyone along the way when I was competing in tournaments. But to have a consistent presence with someone that's asking my mood meter, that would have been great. Like, I remember back when I was 4, my mother would ask me when I go to school, are you going to be good today? And I'd be like, no.
I'm not surprised.
And then I wasn't.
I'm not surprised.
Like, the fact that he said that you can check someone's mood and you can check whether they're in a bad mood and you can adapt for that. That's great, right? Like, we've all said sometimes, like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling so good right now. Let's try not to talk too much because I can't produce anything positive. Yeah. We feel like that. And that's great to do that structurally, not just when you think of it, but to actually have a checklist. That kind of coach, very invaluable. So super glad that HeroesHearth decided to invite him to bring him on, or whether he offered to come on and to hear such kind of things. And yeah, I think every team deserves it if there is bandwidth for it. But Awesome.
That was a really good breakdown, yeah. McIntyre, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings after today, and I just want to get your thoughts. Have things shaped out, or have things resulted, or kind of, do they sit exactly where you expected? Or maybe, you know, I'm a little surprised with that Storm Esports one. I kind of thought 30K might have had that series today, but Storm shut it down.
Yeah, it's a interesting, you know, couple games that we just saw today, and leaving Storm at that second place, right? I think 30K also locking in third. I think the big game here is actually Oxygen, right? Now in the fourth spot, possibly, if Chili Mountain doesn't show up tomorrow in their series, right? But we do have our one.
They just have to lose. Like, if they lose with any score whatsoever, Oxygen is over them. If Chili Mountain wins with any score whatsoever, Chili Mountain is over Oxygen.
Okay, so that makes things even more interesting. But they have now, you know, gotten to the spot that they can get fourth if Chili Mountain loses tomorrow. So well played from them. Well played from Storm to lock in that number 2 spot, right?
Yep.
I mean, great results for both of these teams, right? Definitely what they will be aiming for the day. And you know, tomorrow we'll see fun games. I think the Chili Mountain series should be probably the most important. But yeah, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to figure that out.
We do have to wait till tomorrow. I'm looking at the standings, and yeah, there's still a little shifting that could happen. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow as we get into those games, but we're not done just yet, Mac. I believe there were some supportive plays earlier today that you might want to go through.
Yeah, definitely a nice support play, PSD support play of the day. It's gonna be from this Oxygen Diamond Hands game, actually, game number 2 on the Curse Hollow. We're gonna be looking at Hebby. I think he was handing out victory high fives before they even knew that they had won the game. And this fight's going to happen over a boss objective. Essentially, Hebby's going to hand out high fives to a couple of his teammates, immune them and himself to the Sylvanas silence arrow that comes across the Wailing Arrow, and kind of turn a team fight just off of his prowess as a support, right? I think a lot of the time, support players kind of need to figure out what they want to do in a team fight before the team fight happens. And Hebby knew that the Sylvanas silence would follow and connect once the boss kind of was to a point that it was takeable from either team, right? And he hands out 2 high fives quickly, makes his team immune to the silence effect, and they're able to win the team fight because of it. So, yeah, we're getting the play, I believe, set up right now. So, essentially, I think, in my opinion, though, this game in this moment was kind of what locked in Oxygen in this series, right? This Curse Hollow game was back and forth up until this point, but after winning this team fight, they essentially were able to maintain control of the map, right? Continue to get bosses, continue to get curses, and win the game. Not only win this game, but then the remainder of the series. I think momentum is very important, and even, you know, your mood meter. How good do you feel after a fight? I'm sure Hebby after this fight felt incredible. Preemptively high-fiving a Sylvanas silence is what you want to do here. We have the clip here, and you'll see the silence is going to happen right here. The high fives go out. Boom. No one CC'd at all. And because of that, actually, Sylvanas out of position. The Dahaka digs in. There's a very funny moment. Funds is stuck. Watch Madara shoot some grenades into the little trap here. Where are you gonna go, Funds? Boom. I think that's so funny. But yeah, Oxygen, that momentum, able to pick up 1, pick up 2, 3, 4. This team fight, again, just puts them in such a good position. Curse Hollow is a map that's all about territory. It's all about space. And able to pick up 5 kills with an objective, with a boss. I mean, you could not ask for a better play of the game from Hebby there. High five in his way to, again, a victory here.
That is McIntyre. Thank you for the breakdown on that one. I think that one actually might sneak into my my weekly brief as well, because Grubby was mentioning during the moment that we were watching in the game. He was like, "Man, that was the support play of the day right there." And I was like, "Grubby, I absolutely agree." And I made a note in my notebook. I was like, "Gonna put that one in." Let's go ahead and take a look at I believe our schedule for tomorrow, as we'll be back tomorrow afternoon. We'll have Granite Gaming versus Wild Heart Esports. Those two teams are kind of locked into into their spots already. The big thing to see, though, here, Grubby, Chili Mountain versus Simplicity. If Chili Mountain can take a couple games off of Simplicity, our map scores are going to look a little different, and 30K might shift out of that number 3 spot. That is the marquee matchup of the weekend after today's games. The standings will really change up after tomorrow's, I would say, game number 2, our 4th match of the weekend. What are you looking forward to from those matches tomorrow? Is it the same thing? Is it Simplicity? Will they dominate, or will they just kind of play some Cho'Gall and have a good time as they're locked in at number 1?
Trying to remember what Simplicity did when they were in a similar spot, but I don't think they were in this spot before. They came back from behind last season. And so we don't really know their troll factor, or let's say if we look at it more favorably, their amount of experimentation factor. Are they going to let any 6th play? Are they going to do some different drafts? We don't know that, but what we do know is that Chili Mountain is fighting for a favorable position. A victory gets them improved 1 or 2 ranks. At least 1, off the top of my head, don't remember if it's 2, but it's very important for them to win 3 maps to win the best of 5. More for them than for Simplicity. So there could be an upset. We could also see Simplicity just looking to lay down the law and create this aura of invincibility.
We'll have to see if Simplicity is shut downable tomorrow. I think that's definitely a word that exists in the English language.
It is now.
It is now. There we go. We created it here on HeroesCCL. I want to get your closing thoughts, though, from both of you, but I want to start with McIntyre. What are your closing thoughts from today's games?
Yeah, I think after watching today's series again, I'm just really excited with the power level of just all of the players, of the characters in the game. It seems like, every game comes down to a big team fight or a strong heroic use. It's not the stale dance around, keep each other from dying, and then eventually win the game, right? We have really big moments happening from all these teams. They all seem to have each other's numbers. Everyone's showing up. I think today really showcased that, and it's kind of setting us up for a playoff that, I don't think any of us are going to really know who's supposed to win, just because the teams all look so damn good, right?
The teams look phenomenal indeed. Let's get Grubby's closing thoughts from today's matches as well.
Yeah, it's cool to see how patches continue to shake things up as everyone tries to assess the power level of new heroes and their place in the meta. With limited information and examples from peers, Blaze, Johanna, Karazim, Stukov's absence. Which healer becomes better because of Stukov's absence? Is that Brightwing? Is that Karazim? That will now not be in the silencing arm. We continue to try and answer these questions. That continues tomorrow and into the playoffs several weeks hence. Change, for the sake of change, is great, even more so when we get to see some of the heroes that we don't see as much, like Johanna. Great games today. Looking forward to tomorrow.
You put it so succinctly, Grubby. The games today were awesome. The meta has changed up our priority in the draft, and the absence of Stukov has really kind of changed up the priority into our healers. We're seeing a lot more Karazim, a lot more Deckard Cain as well. My takeaway from today and this weekend so far is never make a deal with Funds on Twitter. He will lie to you. That's just it. Funds, I got to call you out. You didn't come through, so I will be sending my lawsuit. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe he hovered Gall, but nobody locked in Cho.
Oh, that is possible. That might have been it. You know what? I'll have to go back and check the replays. But either way, no. Today was absolutely fun. We had a lot of cool games, and we'll be back tomorrow with more matches. I also want to remind everyone tomorrow is Father's Day. So just a little reminder out there in case you forgot. Maybe you want to run to CVS tonight, grab yourself a card, or to Home Depot and get your dad a power washer, much like I did. But either way, we're going to be back tomorrow afternoon with more HeroesCCL. We'll be back at 1 o'clock PDT, 4 o'clock EDT, 22 CEST. As a reminder as well, we encourage you to hit !awards in chat because there's an award show and we need you to vote on those categories as well as those players who could potentially, be voted for some of these awards. So make sure you hit !award in chat. And finally, I want to thank PSD, our sponsor, for joining us for HeroesCCL. You can hit !PSD in chat to get you over to the Wisdom curated page of wonderful underwear. And if you think you want to check out a few pairs of underwear, no, you don't even want to think. You do you want to get yourself some wonderful pairs of PSD underwear, you can use Wisdom, WISDOM, at checkout for 20% off of your order. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us today for HeroesCCL. We had some amazing matches, and we'll have more tomorrow for you in the afternoon. Until then, I've been Bahamut, joined by Grubby and McIntyre, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.